A game.
A to the game. Hello, hello. What's going on here then? It's us from Metal Epidemic. They're here in the background. I swear you can hear them if they said hi once in their lives. No, they're not. I'm not going to say hi. Fine.
Hello.
Hello. What's going on, everyone? What's up, Zeke? It's good to see you. How is everybody doing? I can't see their faces right now because something's just happened. Everything's going great. How's everybody doing in the chat? All that chatness. Duncan, why do you look so confused?
I have no idea what's happening. I don't know what sort of show we're running here, but every other thing that I do, there's usually a 3 count, and then we come in.
No.
I'm glad that I wasn't mid-chat about how many veins are actually on my dick. Which was where I was going, and then you stopped it. So we are good.
Very good. Good to
All
go.
good.
Yep.
All
it's
good.
Michael Myers ghost t-shirt for Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Which,
That's how to do that.
yes. I don't know how hyped I'm supposed to be. Build my way into it. I'm gonna build my way into it.
You're gonna
different levels.
Build your way into the hype. That sounds like a great idea. Oh. So there was a bunch of subs just then from Demented Raven and Zashima, so thanks for that. That's awesome.
Nice.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Gifted to a few people, like Lisa Coverdale, who's in the chat right now.
Oh, hi, Lisa.
Always a good time. So, what are we doing today, Dave?
Well, Kyle. It's a bit of a sexy show this evening, not gonna lie.
Hell of a segue, right?
How do you, like, it sounded like that was rehearsed. Well, I'm glad that you asked, Kale. They've sorted these papers out on the table.
100% off the cuff, Duncan, as always. You know how I like to roll with the flow.
Roll with the flow. Yep. Roll with the flow.
On the last Twitch stream, we put it to you, the viewers, what you would like to hear us chat about on this stream. And it was decided that we would be chatting our favourite albums from 2002. I don't know why 2002. I can't even remember why that came up that year in particular. Any of you guys
I want
remember?
to say someone in the chat said 2002.
Yeah.
Because it seems like a weird year that we wouldn't pick. And then at first we were kind of like, maybe some of the other albums, and shots fired. Shots fired from the cover deal. Out of nowhere. Out of fucking nowhere. There you go. Demented Raven said 2002, and I think at first we were kind of like,
nice.
And then we found out very quickly that 2002 actually, I think you can actually see 2002 as the start of the new wave of American heavy metal, as it would be called. Because there's quite a few of those albums come out, and then we're all excited.
Yeah, I initially thought this was going to be a fairly easy task, to be honest. I was like, off the top of my head, I was thinking 3 or 4 albums, easy, not a problem. Got my list sorted already, not even listened to the albums. Turns out though, 2002 had a fucking shit ton of great albums. Like, yeah, took a while. I think I didn't count how many albums I've listened to, but on Spotify it says about 35 hours worth. I made a little playlist to go through. Duncan, you were up in the almost about 100 albums or something.
90 albums I've listened to out of a list of just over 100. So quite a few of them were first-time listens. What I found out really quickly is 2002 was a transitional year for me, where I was still clinging on to the vestiges of new metal, unwilling to let it go into its death throes, just kind of hoping for that second win. And turns out there was a ton of stuff. And to be honest, from bands that are kind of more long established, or bands that were literally moving into like kind of new territories and stuff. But you can chart, essentially from 2002, you can chart like some of these bands would go on and be the big bands for the next 5 years and onwards. So it's a surprisingly interesting year, and we've all been teasing each other in the background with Dave said that he's found a couple albums that he didn't rate that have now come up. I've told Dave there was a couple albums that I really rated that I now think are shocking, for the lack of a better word. And there's an album on here that I know is going to get me a future hand job off Dave. So counting down the days.
Nice.
How about you, Kyle? How did the old 2002 research go?
It went really well, actually. There's a bunch of stuff in there that I haven't listened to in a long time. And I was like, oh, yeah, this came out in 2002, and so did this, and oh, that shit did too. Let's ignore that one. You know how I feel about black metal. Jesus Christ, was there a lot of black metal in 2002? It's amazing for a genre that was invented in, 1992? It hasn't evolved a tiny bit. Not a single bit. Sounds the same in 92, 2002, 2012, and 2022, probably. It's 40 years of the same shit. Anyway, my research went great.
I am surprised by my extreme like of 3 black metal albums. Not that they're going to make my final list, but on the listening, I was like, I actually really like this. I'm not a black metal fan at all, but I was surprised at how much I did like it. So, although there's a lot of shocking shit in there as well.
Yeah.
A lot of that kind of fucking like old school kind of kind of stuff, you know what I mean? When you're just like, what the fuck is going? Like, but it's all over like stuff that sounds heavy. Like the build up is like, you're like, oh shit, this is my jam. You're like, no, you've wrecked it.
Yeah. We're also on like almost the kind of tail end of new metal as well. You know what I mean? Like there was still some coming out in 2002, but it was becoming weaker and weaker. You know, that year, it wasn't the pinnacle of new metal. Definitely not. That was definitely before 2002. But
Orton released. I think at the time it was classed as the most expensive metal album ever made. So, and I remember going, I can't wait to hear this, and I listened to it. I was like, they spent how much money on this? I mean, it's a banger. It's a really good album. If you're a Korn fan, you're a Korn fan.
It did not make my list. I'm not going to lie.
It didn't make mine either. But if you were a Korn fan, I think that's the one that Jonathan Davis I think he pretty much wrote everything on it as well, which it shows. So, like,
yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't I didn't feel that album at all. Untouchables is the album from 2002, but I don't know. I found it was really like lacking in like big moments. Like the opener's amazing. Like Here to Stay is an amazing opening track on an album, but I feel it kind of peaks there, if I'm honest.
Track 1.
Yeah. It's got some good riffs, but it's not so much got great songs on it.
It's a singer's album. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's full of great Jonathan Davis moments. It's not necessarily full of great riffs. So and you can hear that when you listen to it, and that's why I kind of like it, because I think, don't want to be controversial here, but Jonathan Davis is my favourite. So
yeah. Okay. So I've picked like 5 of my main ones, the 5 that like I rate really highly, but I've got a feeling there might be a little bit of crossover. We don't know what each other's 5 are, so I do have some backups, and we'll do some honourable mentions as well once we go through our main ones, just so we're covering everything. But and I want to hear from you guys as well, so in the chat let us know what were your favourite albums of 2002. Fire them in and we'll have a little chat about those as well. Happy to hear them. Are we going to do the old...
You're not getting all 90 honourable mentions. Although, if you're all still around at the end and I've had enough drinks, I will try and name all 90 albums in less than 3 minutes.
Yes. Let's do that. What are we drinking, actually? Just out of interest, what we're drinking this evening?
Well, I was going to have, like, originally I left the house to go and get some Brewdog, but I think you now get, like, looked upon by the cashier negatively and by anyone that sees you picking up Brewdog, because they're going through a bit of a scandal at the moment. Institutionalised bullying in the workplace, which was the first bad bit of press, and I was like, it'll blow over, everything will be fine. And then there's a bit of news dropped this week that apparently their solid gold cans are not made of solid gold, they're actually just gold plated.
What a huge scandal! Oh my word!
Well, I think a guy went to sell it. I think that the ad campaign originally said that they were worth 15,000.
Amazing.
And I think Brewdog still claim that it is worth 15,000. The gold plating and the metals involved still is worth 15,000, but it's a brass can with gold plating on it.
Nice.
So instead, what I went for was an oldie but a favourite. So I'm drinking the Belgian White by Blue Moon.
Ooh.
Blue Moon, I
Nice.
saw you standing alone. And I'm drinking Sheepdog peanut butter whiskey, which, by the way,
What?
At first I thought it sounded shit, and I bought it because it was on Prime Day, you know, Optimus Prime Day, as the internet's been calling it. He died for our sins, and I got it, and it actually tastes like. It doesn't really taste the whiskey, which is the disappointing thing because I like my whiskey to burn when you drink it, but it does taste like caramel peanut butter, and it does actually taste kind of amazing. But I could drink a lot of this and probably get diabetes. So that's what I'm on. What about yourself, Kyle?
I am drinking the same stuff I drank on Friday when I did that charity stream on the front page of Twitch, which was fun.
Ooh.
Which is
Nice.
passion fruit crush with vodka. Because it's very fruity.
it.
I like it.
Oh,
I've got a mango beer in the old fridge as well, waiting for me.
I don't know what it's like. You said passion fruit crush and vodka, and instantly I started thinking of Kiora. Remember Kiora?
You're so old, man.
So fucking old. You have to be to do a show that talks about the best albums from 2002.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, 2002. What would be 21? 21. Is that right?
Well, like
that.
you would have been 21 before me, Dave.
A month. Yeah.
Oh, 32 days. 33 days actually. 33 days.
3 days. Oh, really?
31 days in August, and there's only 30 in September.
Right.
See, just some quick math there. So yeah, we would have been 21. So
21.
our first year out of college, and
Oh.
maybe our first year in like a band together. Was it Genetic Blueprint formed 2002, I want to say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, this would have been our first year in a band together, which wasn't at college.
No.
The old Age of Anger, Dave. Age of Anger. That band was horrendous. So bad.
Oh. Yeah. Still probably rocking the drop chains and the big baggy jeans though.
Oh yeah, I
No
got a skateboard, a spray can for the tagging. You know, and a lot of girls on my bandwagon because I don't give a fuck. Living life in the fast lane. So.
Oh, it's coming back.
Oh.
That wave of nostalgia.
Yeah, it was. It was all like it was 8-ball chains, which were like at the time you thought you were the coolest motherfucker in the world, and you were.
Yes.
If anything, if you had friends that didn't listen to metal, most of my friends didn't listen to metal. All they would do is pull it when you were fucking walking, and you'd be like, "No, leave it alone. You're gonna break it."
That's the most metal thing I've ever heard you say.
So literally, yeah, exactly.
Remember the
Ah,
ones
you
for your
fucking
neck as
asshole!
well?
Don't fucking what you doing? Like, no, leave me alone, please.
The ball chain, but then they also had the ball neck chain as well.
Yep.
I had one of them as well. Cool as fuck.
Male chokers.
Yeah.
They were cool as fuck.
Oh yeah,
And it was,
absolutely.
we're maybe, I'm trying to think, we're maybe about two years, maybe 3 years before Guyliner became a big thing for me.
Duncan, you did a wee bit of the guy liner.
Oh, I love the Guyliner.
Ah,
I already have very stunning eyes, Days, and all I
do.
did was accentuate them.
yeah. Well,
Look at Kyle's face. Kyle is like, kill me now.
what?
I did the same thing. I got up.
Oh, yes, Kyle!
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
it's coming. There we fucking go.
Yep, I had the long hair. I had dreads back then, dreadlocks and guyliner. Fuck.
Duncan and Guy. I have pics, Raven. I have
Yeah,
pics.
Dave has pics. I had circa 2002 Guyliner and Wayne static hair. Like my hair was like spiky as fuck and out everywhere.
Yep.
And I thought I was cool as fuck. I look back at it now and I cringe as fuck. So
All of the pictures of me from back then have been willfully destroyed in a large fire at my mum's farm. It was great.
Kyle and dreads.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that was a time.
Honestly, so.
Yeah.
Unburn them.
Those were the days. Those were the days. I didn't venture into the guy liner for some reason. Just
No, you were too cool for school, dude.
too manly, I think, for that. I did do the bleach.
Too manly for that, look at son of a bitch.
Did the bleach blonde thing for a while.
That was
You're
before
not
I
too
met you,
manly
though.
for bleach blonde though. Yeah, all
Like
right.
Dave
Yeah.
looked, and the thing that we used to find really funny about Dave is Dave looked like a member of at least every new metal band that existed. Like you could sit with, like you could open any edition of Metal Hammer and find a new metal band, and there would be someone in the band that looked like Dave, like black spiky hair or blonde spiky hair. It was always like
Yeah.
you look like every single one of them. So
Bring the
Back when I-
dreads
yeah,
back.
yeah.
That's going to be a new trending hashtag on Twitter, isn't it?
do it. Do it now.
Old
It's the
spiky
greatest
hair.
excuse not to wash. So
It is. It was great.
True.
Yeah. So when's the last time you washed your hair? God, like 4 years ago.
yeah.
I used to steam it with a steam cleaner. They were long. I hold it out like this and get steam cleaner. Each one.
It's
had-
interesting you mention it. There is a band on the list that released an album in 2002 where the singer had the longest dreads in the world.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Which one was that?
Shadow Falls.
Ah,
or
of course
Shadows
it
Fall.
was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we've
It's
got
an
a
album.
raid already. My alerts
Holy
are off
Jesus.
because the bot's dead. But I mean, all right.
Are you tunneling it?
Huh?
Are you tunneling it?
Should I tunnel it? Do we want to tunnel it?
Well, that's what you usually do.
That's
with
what I
someone
usually
raids.
do. Do you want to see
Give the
that?
people what they want.
Do
Yeah.
we want to see the channel? It is Eradicate. She is a member of my stream team. I probably should tunnel it.
At the tunnel.
Get in a tunnel! So I'm wondering if it works. And that was the tunnel. There we go. We're back. That's a fucking old video. I forgot to update it on this PC. Oh well. We'll be fine, right? I like how you two were just laughing at it. Thanks.
That's
No,
Kyle
we
too.
weren't actually.
Mm-hmm.
We were just commenting on how you haven't upgraded to a 9-string guitar in that video yet.
It's up here on a
Spend
wall.
all that. Yeah, spend all that money and it lies on the wall.
Well, there's a bit of a debacle going on with that thing. I ordered some a 9-string set of strings, like you can see here. 9-string slinky, it says, right?
Yep.
9, right? That's a 9-string
Is it
guitar.
Is it an actual slinky?
Yeah, it's just a slinky. You just got cut 9 times. Yeah.
I can't fucking play this.
How do you tune a slinky? Fuck. But no, I bought 2 packs of these thinking I'll be fine. I went to re-record some guitar I'd recorded for a song, and then just cut all the strings off it came with. All that's in the trash now. Put the string on, and it's about 1.5 inches too fucking short. Short strings, short scale length strings, and I'm like, oh, they're like £15 a set. Totally useless. I thought I'd be clever. I thought, if I get my 8-string guitar out, take the strings off that, put these on. Yeah, fuck it, that's short because the 9-string's 30-inch scale length, and a regular guitar is 25.5. And I'm like, oh fuck. So I've got that 8-string out, which is 25.5, and put the string on, and it went through the bridge, fine. In the thing, fine. Didn't go through the goddamn tuner at the other end. Too thick, and I'm like, fuck. So I've ordered some very special 9-string strings that hopefully this goddamn guitar will be back up and running soon. Then I'll go to the tunnel, Duncan, and then I'll record another video. Thank you for the host, Shield Maiden Sanctuary.
I'll be honest, you started shouting numbers out there, and all of a sudden I became that meme with that woman with the equations circling around her head. I was like... Also, it's not a bad compliment to be called too thick, if you know what I mean. So anyway,
Depends on where in the country you live, I suppose.
Yeah, and whether or not it's your teacher talking to you.
Yeah. True.
Some people are just too thick, and you look up for your desk and you go,
Huh?
yeah, Raven's got it too thick or too thick. Thanks for the host, everybody. That's awesome of you. What's up, Tanner? Oh, there's loads of people coming. Who's this T-Puts cast?
Nice.
You haven't been streaming recently.
That's me.
That's him.
That's me.
You, yeah.
You son of a gun.
Who is this?
Who is this?
Putts cast.
T-Puts. When are you streaming again? Because you used to do it on Sundays. I haven't seen you on.
I don't.
Yeah, it's because I completed the game that was really scary, and then I wanted to start playing the shark game, and it's not as fun as I wanted it to be. And then I was kind of like, so I'm like the summer is really bad for me. To let the people out there know, I do a horror podcast for those that don't know it, and over summer I do a series where I take a decade and then I go through the top 100 movies from that decade, except this year I'm doing the 2010s as a whole decade, and we're covering 120 films, which means I watch 120 movies and do essentially 120 reviews. So that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. So, and then I listen. People, how do you listen to 90 albums? Well, I watched 120 movies. So,
Kieran
You know what I
just
mean?
gifted 5 subs. He did. That's
There you go.
insane. He's baking the channel in fire right now, roasting us without insulting a person. Thank you, Kieran. That's awesome of you, man.
So I will be coming back to Twitch. I will be doing more gameplay. I just need to stop being a wuss. And I have Outlast. I have all 3 Outlast games there, and that's the one I probably should do because I will
do
pack
Outlast.
myself. It terrifies me. So
Lisa's doing it too. Thanks, Lisa, for gifting that to Fuzzy Wee Peach.
What's going on, man? This place is on fire.
It is on fire.
Was he a woman? What?
Only the old people will get that joke, don't get.
That's a hilarious joke. Was he or wasn't he a woman? Was he a woman? So
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Kieran. And thanks, Raven, for gifting those subs. That's awesome.
Cheers.
Fuzzy Wee Peach is now a new subscriber as well.
I can't
Fuzzy Wee
wait to
Peach.
meet Fuzzy Wee Peach.
It's all going down. It's going down.
It is indeed.
Du-du.
So anyway, 2002, chaps.
Yeah.
Best metal albums.
I literally thought Kate was going to say 2001, Dave. Surely. Oh, didn't do this to me. What? Do this to me? Not again.
That's the joke I was playing at Raven in the beginning, wasn't it, in the chat. She was like, "Were you ready for 2002?" I'm like, 2000 what? Wait, what? No, 2001. I've been listening to
2001.
Iowa for fucking a month.
Yeah, 2002.
Fuzzy Wee Peach is here. Hello, friend of Kate and gift receiver from Lisa.
Hand hearts.
And
Hateful
hearts.
hand hearts.
Oh, it's a Zeke bomb as well with the host.
Fucking Jesus.
Yeah.
So many
It's
flames.
all going on.
I know. It really is.
So, are we going to do rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first? It's tradition now.
It really is. I think we should probably do rock, paper, scissors.
All right.
All right, it's been a while. Come on, give me a second. Get the old hand ready. There we go. We're good.
The old hand is ready.
Don't know what you mean. It hasn't been that long for me.
I can say it's been a while.
Again. Fuck's sake.
It can't go
That
through.
episode is never going to
Couldn't
leave
do it.
us. Never going to leave us. I'm looking forward to the next time the people get to pick the albums. And they pick
right.
Stained again. Stained Redux. Where we have to revisit them all. Right, let's do this. Dave, you count us in.
Because I'm the drummer, obviously. Right, okay.
Obviously. You're the only one that can keep time.
Okay, so we're going on 1.
On one,
So
not
3,
the beat after
2,
one.
1. Yeah, right, okay.
Right, ready. Here we go, here we go,
Here
here
we
we
go.
go. 3, 2, 1.
That one.
Right, so
Change that, yeah.
right, Dave beats me, I beat Kyle, you beat Dave. So I don't know what that means. Is that a draw?
It's a 3-way tie.
It's a Mexican
We all go
standoff
at the
and
same
100
time.
bits from Lisa. Thanks, Lisa. That's awesome of you.
Right, let's go again. I have to keep going to someone loses.
Okay,
Right.
okay, fair enough. Here we go.
This could be a long night. Right, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
We did it all again.
Same again. Same again.
That's a psychological thing that,
Yeah.
like they say, the first time you do it, if you draw, then you do the same thing. The second time, the third time you change.
Right.
It's a psychological thing. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Right.
3, 2, 1.
I said that because I
know what?
helped you change. I said it to help you change, you motherfuckers. Right. Go on,
Right, let's do it. Who's got the longest cock? Here we go.
Remember when I
We'll
said
be right
earlier on,
back after this horrific message.
thick with 2 C's. Okay, right. Let's go. Right.
Here we go again. 3, 2, 1.
We did it again.
Right, come on.
Right.
Move the stream to
Last one.
OnlyFans.
Maybe break
Last
after
one.
all this exercise.
Last one. Move the stream to OnlyFans. Could you imagine
Only.
the little amount of money we would make
Amazing.
on OnlyFans?
We could call it Only Mans. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Right.
You ready?
Or Only Dan's. None of us are Dan. We'd have to change the name.
I know a guy
right.
called Dan.
Well, he could do it. He could host it.
He could, yeah.
Right, let's go. Right, ready? Dave.
Are we going to do the same thing again? Right, okay, right. Here we go, right. What I'm going to say is we have to change it. You have to pick something else this time. Right? Have to.
Right.
Duncan?
Right.
Have to.
Okay. I don't like being told
fucking
what to
do
do.
it.
I don't like being told what to do, Dave.
You fucking do it.
I'm 39. Right.
I'm older than you, so shut your face.
Oh, now he's playing that card.
That's right.
Let's
Who's
do
your
it. Right, here
turn?
we go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Ah, Kyle
Kyle!
lost.
Kyle, you're
Ah,
fucked.
yeah. I knew he would do that. That's why I didn't change, Dave. Right.
I forgot what I did
Love
the
it.
first time, so I'm just like, eh, whatever.
Hey, listen, some people will pay a lot of money, Paul, to see people on Twitch just playing rock, paper, scissors. There's a market for everything out there. Explains Stained fans. Oh, shots fired.
Well,
Oh,
I'm out,
gosh.
so bye.
No, you're not out to bat. You start first.
You're first.
Come on.
Youngest goes first.
Yeah. Age before beauty.
All right, I'll take that.
Shortest cock goes first.
All right. I don't know what order I'm going to put these in.
Oh, here we fucking go, man.
Well, no,
I've had
order's
a
fine.
month.
Order's
I've had a
fine.
month.
No, orders, he said didn't know what order. We spoke about this off here. Doing it order-wise can create problems, so just pick an album and... Because, like we said before, if Kyle picks number 5 and that's your number 1, then... I think that's literally how you described it to me. And I was like, Dave, that's not helpful. So...
Well,
Oh, I know which one I'm going to do. We mentioned it
Okay.
already before we started talking, so you guys know which one it is. But it is the rawest this band has ever... How old were they when they recorded this? 16? 12? Something like that.
1.
Right? 1. Yeah,
Right
they
in
were
the
1
middle.
year old when they recorded this.
Right.
They were literally bashing their head against any
1
instrument
year
they
old.
could find. And that's how black metal was invented. Fucking whiny babies. Anyway,
do them in order of the year they came out. Nice. I like it.
get out, Kieran.
Yeah, it explains the bass drum sound. The bass drum sound sounds like it was recorded on an ultrasound.
It probably was.
Not gonna lie, chaps. This was at the top of my list, so you're just fucking blowing my list to fucking piss.
At the
here,
top
right?
of your list,
Yep.
This
This
one,
was-
really
the
Top of my list, yeah.
number 1 album
of
Yeah.
2002 for you.
in 2002.
Yep.
Well, that's
See, the 35 hours of music that you listened to was all
Yep.
easy
Just
listening.
this album.
One
Just
metal
this album.
Just this-
Just
Was it
this
Nick-
album.
Was it Nickelback's discography and just this album?
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, it's good, but
I love that. Come on, I've been with these guys since
You have
this
been.
album.
Me too.
So, like,
I met
this
them in
is-
Oslo when I played a gig. It was awesome. They're so nice. They gave me beer, and then they looked at me when they were talking Polish, and they were like, you can understand us, right? And my wife's Polish, and I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, fuck. And the dude let me play his guitar. That guitar's amazing. Oh, I could have taken it home, but I would have been in so much trouble. That's a pretty easy way to get into Metal Hammer, though. Random Norwegian steals Decapited's guitar. So yeah, album is, what's it called? Fucking don't remember the name of it now.
Nihility.
There we go, Nihility by Decapitated. Love this album. I actually got into Decapitated way after this album, but I went back and listened to it, and I was like Duncan was saying, some of it's way out of time. And it's
yeah,
not...
well, that was what I think we were off here when I said that. Yeah, I listened to it and I realised that I hadn't actually heard it before. I think the album that I'm sure it was the album after or the one after that you gave me, and that's how I heard them. I don't think I ever went back as far as that, but listening to it, you can tell it's an early album played by young people because, and it was most notable on the first song. In the first minute, the music's out.
Yeah, it's just...
And then it tightens right up. And I'll say this about it. I mean, I don't think it's their best album. I'm not saying that any of you have said that statement either. I'm just stressing that before we get in trouble here. But what's really cool about it is there's, like, the guitar work specifically, they're really inventive when they want to switch things up. Like, really inventive. And like some of the drum stuff's like fucking nuts. So yes, I enjoyed it.
I adore this album.
Yeah.
Like it would have been top of my list. Released on Earache, recorded and produced by the band. I think this was our second. They did Winds of Creation. I think this was our second album.
It's their second one, yeah.
And then obviously they've now released this kind of demo album just recently, which was stuff done kind of prior to this. But Decapitated for me are one of those bands that, when they put out an album, even when it isn't amazing, it still shits all over other death metal bands.
That's why they're one of my
100%.
favourite bands. Not even just Polish death metal, but all death metal. They're like right up there. It goes like, I think they might be on top of my favourite list. I just love them. Everything they do is just like, how the fuck did you, one, write that, two, perform it, and three, do it live? How?
Yeah. They don't have, in my opinion, they don't have a weak album.
No.
This was the first album I ever heard by Decapitated. And I just became obsessed with them, to be honest. I think either this or Organic Hallucinosis is my favourite out of the two. I love both of those albums for different reasons. But I think Nihility just has something classic about it. Like, for me, the feel of it, production, like, is very raw. It's very kind of old school. It's been done by the band, obviously, as I said. And I just love the flow of this album, how it goes from kind of track to track. It's a very memorable album, in my opinion. In terms of, like, as far as death metal goes, I think they've always had a very individual sound.
Especially Spheres of Madness. That song gets me every time.
Oh yeah,
it's so cool.
That's the thing though. Like, a few bars on every track on this album, you're like, I know it's Decapitated straight away. Whenever you hear it, you're like, this is Decapitated. And I mentioned this, we talked about the demo album on one of their podcasts. This is back obviously when they had both Vogue and Vitek in the band. Both brothers, and you can hear that chemistry like between those two on this album, on those early albums before obviously they had the bus crash in 2006 or 7, something like that. And don't get me wrong, the stuff they did after that is still amazing, but I love this old stuff. I love the Nihility and the Organic Hallucinosis. Negation's a great album as well. But for me, like, even with its flaws, as you say, like little bits out of time and stuff, it's almost perfect for me. Like, I go back to this album so much. It's
those flaws that give it such character, though. I really like hearing that. I love hearing musicians fuck up on the record, and they're like, "Well, I ain't doing it again because have you heard that riff?" Oh, it's great. I really,
love it.
I love it.
Love it. Great album. If you haven't heard Decapitated's Nihility, then check it out right now. Well, not right now, but after this.
After this, don't go away. You're not allowed. Once you're here to stay, and that's it. That's a Korn song.
Here to stay, you said? Go on.
That's the first riff I learned to play on a 7-string guitar.
Of course you did.
Yeah, because it was easy. I borrowed my friend. He bought a 7-string Flying V, Gibson Flying V 7-string. Maybe it was an Epiphone. I don't remember. But it was. He was like, "Yeah, check out this guitar. It's just like they have in Korn." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, nice, that's great." And then you pick it up, and the neck went. Fucking flying V's.
I've told you, like, one of those moments that I look back now with sheer embarrassment was playing a gig with my old band and standing on stage, and our guitarist shouting out at the meager audience, "Any Slipknot fans in here?" And they're like, "Yeah, like that. Well, we fucking hate them. Here's a corn song." I was like, "Oh no!" And back then we thought we were cool.
Oh man, that's great.
We were not. So
I had a band that covered a mindless self-indulgence song way back in, I think around 2001, 2002, and I'm on stage. It's like, has anybody heard of a mindless self-indulgence? Crowd went silent, and then I was just like, well, good. Then it sounds like we wrote the song.
glad this is one of ours.
Yeah. Fucking no one knew who they were back then.
Oh man. Right.
Duncan?
Oh, I go next. Oh,
Well,
Like
I
you
kinda-
two
I
were
kinda-
scissors. You got to
jumped
rock
onto-
it between
I kinda jumped
yourselves,
onto
no?
Kyle's.
me and Dave are scissoring. That could be difficult.
Like the sound of
but
that.
I lost with
But
Pete,
no.
but you two had, you know.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
Oh, I
doing
know
that
how to
again.
scissor. I know how to scissor. Don't you worry. I need to demonstrate with fingers. I know what I'm doing. Right.
All right, Duncan's taking it. Fine.
Right, I've taken it too far. Because we're not doing them in order, I'm going to try and, because my instinct was to follow up with an album that's in the same sphere as what you've just mentioned. So I'm going to pull back from that and go completely in a different genre direction, so to speak.
Okay.
This band released this album, but I didn't get into them until their following album, and then circled back to this album, and then realised that this would be an enduring love for me, which has continued right up to where we are just now, where they are about to perform live in an aquarium of all places. So this is Mastodon. The album is Remission. My notes written here.
Fucking
classic-
destroyed my list, you motherfucker. They were on the top of mine.
Well, what I've got written here is beside Mastodon Remission, I've got March of the Fire Ants riff gives me a chub. So this album is it's fucking raw, isn't it, Kyle? It's kind of like Gordon Ramsay examining a steak at a bad restaurant. Fucking raw. So the thing about this is, this is easily their heaviest album that they did, because over time they smartly started to kind of change and evolve their sound. So back here, there isn't much in the way of melody. It's mostly kind of more on the kind of shout and screaming side for vocals. But it is wall-to-wall riffs. And this is another album that doesn't sound polished. If you listen to Leviathan, which is a better album, Leviathan still has that kind of raw feel, but it's much more polished in terms of their sound. You know what I mean? Like, the songwriting's much better. On this one, you can hear, if anyone's ever had a chance, there's the Workhorse Chronicles, I think, is the DVD doc that the band put out, where they basically talked about how they formed and what bands they had all come from. And they all come from completely different genres of music. Some were playing kind of noise grind stuff. Others were playing more kind of stoner rock, and they all formed in. And you can hear it on the album. There are moments where you get these kind of big, kind of almost sludgy riffs, and then the guitar work's doing stuff that could be considered as kind of starting to lean towards kind of more of the grindy, noisy sort of stuff, but slowed down. But what it has is just a sense of weight. Like, every single song has the best title ever. Mother Puncher is just it's maybe one of the best names of a song ever, and the music fits. Like, when you read the names and you hear it, it sounds like massive monolithic creatures moving. It's incredibly well written.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Old Nessie.
Well, I mean, I, as a Scotsman, find that very racist. So there's a.
All right, fuck.
I was disappointed it didn't contain bagpipes. How dare they?
Listen to the wrong band.
But everything about it just sounds huge. It sounds huge and ugly. And I kind of love that about them, whereas as times went on, they sound more refined and polished. They've never really lost that experimental, kind of playful side, but it's all there in Remission. A fucking great. It's the first time I've listened to it, and the last week anyway was the first time I'd listened to it in 2 or 3 years. And it's surprising how memorable it is. Like, I was going through and it was like, oh, wait, this riff coming up. Oh, then it's there. And yeah, I stand by my statement. March of the Fire Ants, like the intro to that song, you're just like, oh fuck. And live, see when that's played live, it is fucking crushing. So yeah, there's absolutely no way I could not mention it when I'm mentioning my 5 to say a little bit of Mastodon and Remission. There you go.
Yeah, it's a good album. You know, I've never been like the biggest, or not as big a fan as yourself of Mastodon.
You are like Leviathan's the peak, and then everything else is kind of there.
Yeah. Yeah. This album, I enjoyed this album. I went back and listened to it again for this. It is very rough though. Like you can hear, for a first album, you can hear they're still kind of like honing their craft.
Yeah.
But it's a very solid debut album. I think for me, it just lacks some of those kind of hooks that we get so much of now from Mastodon, vocally especially. But the riffs are there. You can hear the riffs on that first album are really good. But as you say, I kind of, my go-to is Leviathan.
Leviathan, we've spoken about this before. All 3 of us come down on completely different favourite Mastodon albums, and that's fine. That's fine. What's interesting about it is they are all. They're late, well, I was gonna say they're later day albums, and like yours is the next one. Ming's is 2 albums removed from that, and Kyle's is an album removed from that. So it's interesting that we space out, considering we don't necessarily agree on everything that we listen to, but considering we all have relatively similar tastes, you know, when you get into that, but I think it kind of speaks more to. To me, like when I hear "Crack the Sky," I just love how it, like, the concept and the whole album. That is what, like, and I saw them play it live as a whole set where they played it back to back. Yeah, and it's an album that, like, well, it was a live set that sounded like, well, you were watching them play for 50 minutes without a break. And I was like, that is fucking incredible. That's like, that to me is to be able to do something like that. And craft something that just raises it up. Before that, it was Blood Mountain, which I still think is maybe their most underrated, because no one talks about Blood Mountain, and it's like the weird kind of cross between kind of Leviathan and Crack the Sky. So but yeah, Remission could not put on my list. Fucking love the band, love the album. So
good album.
I would say if we have picked one that one of us was going to talk about, we should bring another one in from something else. Even if it's not your favourite, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, obviously, because Decapitated would have been one of mine. But there's a lot of love for Mastodon in the chat. Leviathan's getting a bit of a shout, yep.
Leviathan's amazing.
Yeah, can't deny it. It's an amazing album.
What's everybody else got for a kind of your first or your number 5? What would you put as your number 5? Top album of 2002. Let us know in the chat.
We want to see it now. Chances are we may be talking about it later on, unless your taste is shit. So we may acknowledge it and talk about it more later on.
That's metal albums for you guys in the chat and me, who brings up David Bowie in these fucking podcasts all the time. Manowars, Warriors of the World.
And dance. Sorry.
Manowars, Warriors of the World from Machine Citizen. Yeah. If you like your dudes covered in oil and wearing nothing but a thong, that's the album for you.
Manowar.
Opeth. Listen, I went back to check out Deliverance because I got an Opeth later on, and I remember they'd been around for a while. I didn't realise they were as black metal as they actually are, like in the early days.
Of course they are.
Well, you say that.
Sweden in the early 2000s, what we got? At the Gates.
That's death metal though. That's melodic death metal. That's not black metal.
I suppose. Yeah, but that
was surprising.
Michael Åkerfeldt. He's a nutbag, so.
Yeah. I'm glad that you pronounced his surname because to me it's Åkenfalt, which sounds like a really nice pilsner that you can buy.
Sounds like a tree fell over in your backyard.
Oh no, Oakland fault. So. Oh, Lisa went Between the Buried and Me with Between the Buried and Me, which I listened to as well in prep because it's on the list of 100 albums or whatever. And what surprised me about there's literally a band that you can chart that has got infinitely better since they started. Because that is a really raw listen, a really raw listen.
Yeah.
Gore Obsessed is, I don't know, isn't that like sort of when after they, not
right,
after. Right, okay. What are you going to say?
Let me just put this out here because it didn't make my 5, but this is the one that I want to put my cards on the table and say that you might be proud of me. I might be a Cannibal Corpse fan.
We've worn him down.
I might be. I don't know if I have listened to. I know for a fact that you've given me Cannibal Corpse stuff before, and I'd listened to it in the past and I'd been like, or that. I don't know if it's because their new album has got me totally in the fucking mood. I thought this album was fucking great. I've actually got it written in my notes. Gore Obsessed with Cannibal Corpse. Gore Obsessed. I put a little one-liner beside everything. Cannibal Corpse. Gore Obsessed. Why have I never listened to this album before? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. I actually couldn't believe. I could not believe how much I took to it straight away. So I might be a Cannibal Corpse fan, which is fucking shocking.
100%.
You have to buy a t-shirt now.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I love Gore Obsessed. I mean, I love Cannibal Corpse, as we know. The only reason this didn't make my top 5 is I have a little bit of an issue with the production on this one. It's not my favourite production.
It's a little bit raw and crazy sounding this one, but I mean, it's still Cannibal Corpse, so the riffs are fucking insane.
I will get a shirt, Demented Raven. I promise.
Get it.
When I get it, I will make sure I wear it on a Twitch stream just to prove that I didn't buy
it. So a good album, and Between and Buried Me also, I gave that a couple of listens as well. And as you said, you can hear the potential they've got. It's quite I find that album a little bit inconsistent. There's moments on it where you're like, yes, that is fucking awesome. There's other moments where a little bit kind of shaky. Especially Thomas Giles, his vocals, if you listen to him now compared to back then, it's like night and day, absolute night and day. But there's some really cool heavy parts on that album. The self-titled, really enjoyed that.
There's a couple of when we circled into honourable mentions at the end. There's a couple where I've charted. This is a band that Lisa's talking about, Crazy Town, which we were talking about off air. So there's a couple of albums as well from bands that are on maybe their first album as well that are now you listen to them now on albums they put out in the last 5 years and you're like. So accomplished, so incredible, so huge sounding that you go back and listen to their early output and you're like,
how did they start here? Oh my god.
I mean, if you listen to Colours, it's just that album is just.
I think it's something that we talk about, and I think sometimes it's really easy to overlook when we talk about an album nowadays when we're doing our reviews and we're like, this is their first album.
Yeah.
And people might not why is that a big deal? When you listen to some of the older bands and you hear what their first albums are and they're raw, not refined or whatever, and now you're listening to musicians nowadays releasing their first album, and it sounds like this is album 4 or 5, so accomplished and so well written. I think that's where that comment comes from, where you're blown away because it's only when you go back and listen to some of these older ones and you go, right. The industry was different, and all the rest. I understand that, but this is still, this could have been a make or break thing. I could see people maybe not necessarily following the band after that album. So,
but I'm excited because obviously they've now just announced Colours too. So, that's just blowing my mind. Colours is my favourite Between the Buried and Me album. So I'm keen to hear.
Did we see them on that tour? No.
Oh, no, it was after Colours we saw them, I'm sure.
Yeah, because they were really fucking good live as well. Really good live.
Yeah. I can't remember what album it was on, but I'm sure it was after. We saw them with Animals as Leaders, I think.
Animals as Leaders, who were fucking amazing.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Lisa's saying that she's not loving the new single. Have you told the guys that?
Oh dear.
Don't break their heart. Don't go breaking their heart.
Oh.
She's like,
But
shit,
Lisa is-
how'd you delete a Twitch message? Fuck, how?
Lisa is like their, like to me anyway, she's like their biggest fan. So, context is king. On the whole context of the album, it might fit.
Raven,
That's what I always say to
know,
Dave.
I don't break hearts, I kill dreams.
Yeah, it's literally that's what we did with Dave.
Yeah.
Like, Dave heard what 3 Gojira songs, and you were like, guys, I'm not. And then the album dropped.
Yep.
Revelation.
All made sense.
Yep.
Right, Davey boy,
Okay.
where you going?
Where we're going. So this one was actually one that I had completely forgotten about when making my list. Then I realised it was a 2002 release, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, there's no way I can't not have this in my list. No fucking day. No way. Released on Trustkill Records.
Oh,
And yeah, old school. And produced by the band. I think they brought in a guy called Jeremy Staska as well. Poison the Well, Tear from the Red is my pick here for my...
wasn't even on my list.
Oh, man.
So how that flew through?
Oh, this is, in my opinion, the best Poison the Well album.
It's fucking
Hands
great.
down. This was their second album, followed up the opposite of December, which was a good debut, even if maybe like a little kind of unrefined. But Tear from the Red, for me, was kind of when it all came together. They kind of captured that kind of perfect combination of the kind of late 90s, early 2000s metalcore, infused with a bit of hardcore, and they had this like captivating melody to it as well. They went through like a ton of members, this band. Like if you look at their Wikipedia page, it's fucking massive with like different band members and guests and stuff. It's ridiculous. And it's probably why their albums are a little bit inconsistent at times. Although I did enjoy the one that came after you came before you, I think it was called. And then the last one was the Tropic Rot. But none of them touched this, in my opinion. I think this is by far their best album. The last I heard, they had done a kind of reformation for some reunion shows. So you never know, might get something else out of them. But I love this. Even the kind of the 90s production it's got, like everything about it, just fucking love it. The melodies in particular, though, are what really kind of stands out to me. Just like so infectious. Great album. Poison the Well, Tear from the Red is my pick.
It didn't come up on my list.
No, mine either.
Surprises me because I hit like all the dark corners of the internet to try and that's why my list kept getting bigger, and that did not appear. So it's just surprising because there's a couple of bands in a similar genre that are on my list. So
yeah. Oh, Kearney, definitely check them out. I'm not sure if it'll be up your street or not, but I'd definitely give it a listen.
But you should listen to it anyway, regardless.
It's a great album.
Give them that stream cash.
Yes, I 100% agree. Give them that 1/4 of a penny.
They get a quarter of a penny. The lucky fucks.
Yeah, whatever it is, probably not as much as that. But right, Kyle, back
Hello,
to you.
me. All right.
Hello.
Hello. I'm here too.
Hello.
I just own the stream.
Hello.
I'll figure out which one I'm gonna put on now.
Ooh.
Oh, let's just go with an easy one because I mean it came out that year. I was still a massive fan of the band, and it was this. Like we've already mentioned it. It's the Untouchables album by Korn. I mean, I like it still. I listen to it like yeah. I know. Dave's like, what? That's fucking insane. There's so many better albums, but I still love this album.
I thought that was a punchline there, Kyle.
This is the last album I liked before I dropped off from Korn. After the like.
That's the wrong thing to say. They've got better albums since.
Yeah, but this is the last album I liked, and then they did like some best of album after this or some shit, and I was like, don't give a fuck. And then I came back to them a little bit on that electronic one, which was fun. But this one, this is how I learned to play 7-string guitar. Was this album? So this was it. There was all those new songs, and I was like, I gotta learn them. The day they came out, and I was sat there in front of the TV with MTV or Kerrang Radio, Kerrang TV, whatever the fuck it was, with the new 7-string guitar that I nicked off my friend, and I was like, yeah, I gotta learn how to play this song. And I was like, fuck, they're in drop A, and I'm in B. So that's why I still like it. I know it's a crap album. Don't worry, it's not their best, not by a long shot. But when I listen to it, I'm like, I remember those days. I remember being super into learning how to play 7-string guitar. And I'm just like, that's why, you know?
Right. Bit of a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, it's more nostalgia than anything. But it came up on the list, and I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, man! And then I wanted to listen to Better Corn songs, but they didn't release any Better Corn songs that year, so I couldn't.
There is, I mean, the thing about the album is, like I said before, I think it's maybe one of Jonathan Davis's better albums, and you can hear it's written from that point of view. Like, his choruses are all really catchy on that album, like really, really catchy. Plus, he expands, he hits some like really high notes in some of the stuff, and it is a bit more gothic sounding. But I don't think it has necessarily the same grooves that you associate with a Korn album. So, I mean, it's personal lists here, Kyle. So Dave should not be mocking you. He should be respectful.
He should.
Be respectful, Dave.
I'll be honest here, all right? Look at the chat. Devil Horn says it's pish, Kyle. Sorry, pal.
That's
Yeah,
Paul
that's
Kearney,
coming from
though,
a guy that
who
loves
tolerate.
everything the Wild Hearts do, so...
Well, it's Paul Kearney who we tolerate only because we haven't worked out how to block him yet. Google's drawn a blank at that.
See you on the other side. That's the one. It was like, I just didn't care by then. I was like, nah, it's not going to be better than the last one, is it? Something about mirrors, I have no idea. I was just not interested.
Oh, yeah.
Take a look in the mirror now.
Oh, excuse me. I think it was that single they did the cover of, why am I so terrible at remembering album names and song names?
Word Up?
The Word Up, that's the one. And I was just like...
I'll keep you right. I'm a unashamed mock for Korn, so...
Yeah, me too. But they did that, and I was like, nah. Wasn't a fan. And that song, You Want a Single, Say Fuck That or something. I understand the message behind it, like fuck the label and all that, but I mean, the song was crap, and I was like, you know what? If you're going to do a song like that, make it good. So that's where I dropped off with Korn. And I was like, I've come back since, but that whole like period after whatever the goddamn hell that album's called. Thoughtless? Untouchables. Here we go. I'm getting there. I've had more than 2 hours
Thoughtless
sleep.
was a single.
Yeah,
Thoughtless was a single.
I get confused. So Untouchables, I sort of dropped off there and had a dip for a bit and came back afterwards, and now I'm back. So yeah, that one, that album. I remember I got it the day it came out. I lined up at the store because that's still the day back in the days where you would go to the record store and line up outside when a record came out, and you would fucking buy it, and you'd have to wait on the bus for an hour and a half because I lived in countryside to get home and put it in your CD player and make sure it all worked and press play, and the excitement and the anticipation was unbelievable.
Kyle, your description of buying an album sounds like an old Hovis advertisement.
It's fucking awesome.
pushing a bike up a hill to buy a loaf.
Yeah,
What the fuck's going on here?
My house was on top of the biggest fucking hill in the village. I rode it up there like twice because it was that difficult. The whole like 5-6 years I lived in the area. I'm not kidding. I fucking love Hovis bread as well. I put all that on my list, but they've since had better loaves. I don't know.
Dear. Oh, you all want a bakery? Fuck that. Fuck that. So, is it me next? Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be the one.
I think so.
Yeah. Those that have known me a long time will not be surprised by this. Although I actually think Dave might be surprised by this because I can't think of us ever speaking about this band ever. But you know my taste, so this shouldn't surprise me. Well, it shouldn't surprise you. Definitely didn't surprise me because I picked it. I wasn't like, I'm picking this. So this one is by a band called Porcupine Tree.
Oh.
And the album was called In Absentia. And my little note beside it is love it with a big love heart, which I found the emoji for it. Porcupine Tree are a band that I went through waves of interest in. They're a band, interestingly enough, that I found through Tool, even though they don't sound like Tool. But there was a while there where I started getting into kind of longer form, not complex music, but music that had movements, like specific movements where you actually felt like at the end you'd went on a journey. Which, if anyone listens to our reviews, is a big thing for me. I like to be, like, if a band are are going to go out of the realms of just being like, we're a metal band or a death metal band. If you are an eclectic group, really good songwriters, I like to be taken on their journey. It was one of the reasons the Boss Colloid album recently like scored so high with me, is because every single song sounded like it was taking you on this little journey, which I really enjoyed. And this album I hadn't listened to since about circa 2003, 2004. And I remember playing this album to fucking death, like to the point where I sickened myself of it, like really, really sickened myself of it. So when I found that this was the year it came out, I was like, you know, like, is it good? Like, because there's a couple albums we mentioned it. There's a couple albums on my list that I used to really enjoy that I went back to that just didn't hold up for me, and there was the fear of that because I have such fond memories of it. Coming back to listen to it, it was like a revelation. Like genuinely kind of floored me. It is produced beautifully. Like the production on that album is so spacey and airy and just really, really, really clever. The songwriting is. Oh, there are bands nowadays still trying. I personally think still trying to write songs like what Porcupine Tree were writing back then. They such a forward-thinking band. There's all those prog elements work really, really well, and the melodies are just jaw-dropping. Like to the point where I once again I felt guilty that I hadn't listened to this album in so long, and then I went down the rabbit hole. So for the last like week, I've been listening to a shitload of Porcupine Tree. But yeah, it's one of those things that, like, because they're not a heavy fucking band, I don't think I ever really spoke about them. You know what I mean? Like, at the time, because we were listening to some... Like, back then, it was like, you didn't speak about any band unless the words, like, fucking ripped my face off and fed it to me were in the sentence. So... and we used to try and outdo each other. I remember this in band practices. Like the first 10 minutes of band practice was basically one of us would have an MP3 player or something plugged in. And you would be letting the guys hear the heaviest fucking sound you'd found in the last week. And so I don't think we ever did anything on this line, but it's a great album. In Absentia by Porcupine Tree. If you've never listened to it, it is the tits. So yeah.
It's great.
Don't know if any of you guys are Porcupine Tree fans.
Oh yeah, I got into Porcupine Tree when I lived in the States. My friend's cousin actually, he was giving me a ride somewhere, and I was like, "What is this band on the radio?" He's like, "This is fucking Porcupine." His name was Kyle as well. It was funny as hell. He was like, "This is Porcupine Tree. You've never heard of them?" And he parked his car in a lay-by on the fucking highway on the I-1, and made me listen to about 25 minutes of Porcupine Tree on the side of the hardway, and I was like, "This is amazing! Can you drive on? Now I'm late for my thing."
I literally thought he parked on the highway, made you walk out, dig your own grave.
Yeah, no.
Because that's what happens in America. I've seen the movies.
Yeah.
You make them dig your own grave. And
Yeah.
made you lie in it, listen to the album, and then realise you were fine. And then
Yeah, and then he left anyway, because who the fuck hasn't heard of Porcupine Tree, right? No, it was great. I can't remember which album it was, but since then I've been a fan, so
yeah.
yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah. I haven't listened to them in years. So this wasn't even really on my radar for this at all, but I'll definitely go back and have another listen to it.
What a guy. Davey boy, you're up next. In fact, whoa.
Whoa.
Davey boy,
What?
you're up next.
Okay. Fair enough. Any other albums you'd like to include in anyone else's list? Stick them in the chat.
Yeah, let us know. Before
Fire
Dave
them in
steals it.
before I steal it. Yes, I'm just wondering where I'm going to go next on this one.
Your internet is poo this morning. You're not meant to take it into the bathroom.
Okay.
Surrounded by Thieves by High on Fire.
Ooh,
I'm not
nice.
sure I've heard it.
Nice. High on Fire are good. Yeah, I like that.
It's on my list as well of albums that I listen to.
Oh, Stone Sour. Yeah, I did listen to that actually.
Yeah,
I did
me
listen
too.
to that.
I still have the physical version of that one, and that's the only physical Stone Sour album I have.
Yeah,
it has
yeah, I bought it.
it has
I like it.
4 good songs on it, and the rest are bad Slipknot songs.
Yes.
I can't help it. Like,
Yeah.
it's got 4 good songs, and I think those are the ones that Corey Taylor wrote himself, and then the rest is all weak Slipknot songs. So
Yeah. Songs for the Deaf by Queen of the Stone Age. I mean, you can argue that it's metal in a way.
it's an album I listen to,
Yeah.
and I think it's fucking amazing.
It's great.
I love it. I think Dave Grohl's drumming on it is the tits, and that was the last album I think Nick Oliveri played on before me and Dave met up with him for tequila shots and Guinness, which was a real thing. Me and Dave went to interview Nick Oliveri on his solo tour in Glasgow, and he was, for lack of a better word, fucking steaming, which for anyone that's not Scottish means very, very, very drunk. And he proceeded to, after kind of not wanting to kind of do the interview, his Catalonian wife, who was very fiery, which is not a stereotype, she was, basically forced him to do the interview with us, and as a pick-me-up, he gave us like both shots of $100 Patron, gave me a couple of cans of Guinness, and then did an amazing interview with us, and then let us listen to music that has never, to this day, has still never been released. Like stuff that he did with Slash, a project that he did with Dave Lombardo, like a super group, which has never seen the light of day. We got to hear this, and it was the best fucking day ever.
Yeah.
So
One of my
there you go.
most favourite interviews we did.
Oh,
Just
it was
that.
amazing because his eyes were
fun.
like after he had that first drink, like Hair of the Dog, he snapped to, but he was sitting in that room haggard AF, and then so fucking good. Like it's one of my, I'm a fat bastard in the picture you took, but it's still one of my favourite pictures. So
Yeah.
there you
that
go.
was a good
Queens
night.
of the Stone Age, like, legitimately that album is amazing. So there we go.
Yep.
Dave.
Okay. So this is one of the albums that I almost missed because it's not on any digital streaming platforms. And it was just by luck that I was going through some lists on the internet, and I was like, wait a minute, how did I miss that? And then I had a look on Spotify. No, there. Fucking can't find it. There's a stream of it on YouTube, I think. But luckily, I had my old hard drive handy from back in the day, and I had the album on my hard drive. So on the phone, blasted it. Fucking stunning album. My next pick is imagine you took the kind of venom of Pantera, and paired it with the kind of swagger of Down.
Yep.
And this would result in a band called Super Joint Ritual.
So fucking good, Dave. It's on my list. So
Nice. Their debut album, Use Once and Destroy, released on Sanctuary Records and produced by a guy called Dave Fortman, who did that famous Evanescence album, and also did All Hope Is Gone by Slipknot. Weird. But this is for me, this is one of my favourite things that Phil Anselmo has done. Yep. He did it with members of Down and what do you call them? I Hate God.
Yes.
And after a couple of demos, this album was released, which for a debut is just, it's absolute fire, to be honest. Like it's no frills, it's nothing fancy. It's just kind of sludge-soaked groove metal that's infused with bits of punk and kind of hardcore. Phil just sounds unbelievably pissed off on this, and I love it.
I think he was, in fairness. I think
Yeah.
he was in a dark place at the time. So
Yeah.
yes, Hank Williams III is in that band. I don't know if he was on that recording or if he came into Superjoint later. But he's in. He was in Superjoint Ritual.
Yeah, that's everything about it. Like the production just like fits it like a glove. It's most of the tracks are like under 3 minutes, so it just flies in. Even though it's like 18 tracks long, the album just flies in. And it's just like, it's one of those albums that the music is actually more hooky than the vocals. If that makes sense. Like after I've listened to it, it's the riffs that are totally in my head afterwards. Like you can picture them in your head, them playing these riffs. It's just like so fucking cool. And Phil just spends his album just screaming his lungs out. Like there's no real kind of like massive melodies on this, but it's the riffs that are so infectious on this. Like I love this. This is like one of the better. Like I love Pantera. They are like one of my favorite bands.
Yep.
But like outside the stuff that Phil did with Pantera, like I love this album. Superjoint Ritual, Use Once and Destroy.
Yep, it is an album I listened to. It'd been a while since I listened to it. Coming back, I remembered all the great feelings I had from. I was a big fan of Superjoint Ritual. I know a lot of people don't look fondly upon them now because they see them as the band that destroyed any chance of Pantera really getting back together. The only reason they did not make my list is because Phil Anselmo put out another album this year that I want to talk about more. So that's why I didn't think it was fair to put two Phil Anselmo albums on here, and the other one is, in my opinion, the better album. So we'll get to that next. Yes, so yeah, no, it's fucking fire, man. It's absolute fire.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is the frustration that Anselmo had, like at the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think. 2002 was when Pantera did their last tour.
Oh, was it?
So the last shows. I'm sure, like that's like 9/11's 2002, wasn't it? Or am I just pulling that out of my ass? I want to say 9/11 happened in 2002, and that was when they were on tour and they played their last show in Ireland and then never played any shows after that. So,
2001.
is it 2001? Well, it's a year after it. There you go, a year after it. So yeah, Pantera was gone at that point then. So, as in they weren't coming back, which I think is a lot of why he was pissed off. So there we are.
I think your video's falling in and out, Duncan.
Oh,
Mine's just falling in it.
A bit glitchy.
Glitchy, right? I am going to leave and then return.
Okay. See if that fixes it.
I'll be right back.
You'll be right back. We're just gonna save the embarrassment of all the Discord fuckery while he does that, and show the Metal Epidemic logo.
Nice.
Yeah, his audio is fine, but the video is just like I saw one of his freeze frames, and I almost wet myself. It looked like he was being punched full in the dick, and I was like, yeah.
I constantly look like I'm being punched in the dick.
There you go.
It's usually because you guys are making me listen to music that I don't usually listen to.
There you go.
Hopefully I'm back.
Who punched Duncan? Oh, yeah, you're back. You look alright.
Yay! Back!
Nah, it froze again. I don't know. Some crap.
Your
Am I frozen
audio's
again?
Your audio's okay. It's just your video. It seems to be freezing.
Right, you keep talking. I will do the thing that I do to make everything better.
You do that thing you do, Duncan.
Do that
Do
thing
that
you
thing
do,
I do.
Duncan. Let's go back to this. That's fine. Yeah, that looks better.
Yeah. So any others in the chat? Any other albums you want to fire in? 2002. What did you like from that year? What was your faves? Well, Duncan's away doing something.
Doing something secret. Yeah, we've got to make sure Duncan washes his hands before he does anything, and after he's done anything.
100%.
Yeah. This is
what
a
was
good
Kieran
list
saying
so
something
far.
about
It's
Pantera?
quite varied. I thought we'd all
Yeah.
come up with the same 5 bands.
Yeah. Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
Especially you and me.
Yeah. Yeah. There's probably still a couple that will come up.
Probably.
Yeah. Kearney, it's one of my regrets is missing Pantera. I missed them actually. They were supposed to be playing Glasgow. I can't remember what the name of the tour was. I think it was Reinventing the Steel. They just released Reinventing the Steel, and I was going to go, and somebody else came up, and I didn't manage to get there, and then I never got to see them. So that was one of the bands that I never got to see. But I wish I'd saw Pantera.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Songs to the Deaf has been mentioned. Duncan is back. Looks like his video is better.
Yay!
Hey,
There we go.
Red Chord is a good shout. Oh, yeah. Good lord.
Red Chord I listened to for the first time since probably
Amazing.
that album came out. Oh, your boy.
Yes, fucking love that album.
The Red Chord and the equally confusing because I get the bands muddled up all the time. Red Harvest.
Red Harvest
Anyone listen to Red Harvest?
by. Oh no, you're talking about the band Red
The
Harvest.
band Red Harvest.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
Red
yeah.
Harvest and Red Chord I used to get muddled up all the time. Couldn't be any different if they tried. One of them was like a really dark industrial heavy band and the other one was not that. So much heavier. So much fucking heavier. So yeah.
Yeah, the Red Chord
Audio
album,
Slaves debut.
amazing.
I was on my list.
Yeah, Audio Slave. I've got
I might as well come
got
out and
issues
say it.
with
This
that
one's
album.
next on my list. So
Oh, is
Was
it?
it? Right,
Yep.
well, let's
All right, let's go then, Kyle. Let's go
go on
then.
then, go for it.
Let's
swing
get
it
there.
round.
I mean, it's the first album they did, and it's the members of Rage Against the Machine with an incredible singer that isn't Zach De La Rocca. And I'm like, when it came out, I couldn't believe it. Like, what's his name? Chris Cornell is such an incredible fucking singer, unbelievable,
Yeah.
and like one of my idols in the singing world, of which I do none because I suck. But if I did, I'd want to sound like him. And they got together with members of Rage Against the Machine, which I love. They're so groovy and unbelievable. And when this came out, I was like, wow, it blew me away. Absolutely blew me. And it still did when I listened to it again now. I was just like, oh, yeah, this is so good. Every riff's a great one. Every single line. And I love the mix of the two because you just don't expect it since they did, with Zach rapping all over the place. He didn't do all that much, what's it called?
Melody.
Yeah, melody. That's the one thing. I've had no sleep. He didn't do much melody. He didn't do much singing and everything, but his messages were always definitely on point. And but then they did this thing. They started this, and they had 3 albums, didn't they? 2 or 3.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's weird about Audio Slave is that drop off. Like that first album when that came out, that was everywhere. And then the second album, maybe less so. And what's interesting about them is the first album is the one that sounds like Chris Cornell and Rage Against the Machine, and the subsequent albums sound like Chris Cornell with a backing band.
Yeah.
It's really weird. He really started to kind of not dominate the sound, but the band felt like they changed their sound.
Yeah.
That first one is a really good album. It's a
great,
really,
yeah.
really, really good album. It's got great songs.
Especially
And
the
some of the-
singles. The first thing I heard was obviously Cochise, wasn't it? And then,
Cochise, oh man.
oh fuck! Just it starts off with that with the guitar going and all the
Yeah,
it's so good. And the video was great too. It was so simple, but it was really good.
Yeah.
And so yeah, when I listen to it again now, I was just like, oh yeah, okay. That's
Oh,
good on my list.
Davey's going to disagree.
I'm not as high on this as you guys. I think this album does have some real bangers on it, but I'd say it's 6 tracks of gold and about 8 tracks that are completely forgettable. I think it's far too long an album. Far too long an album.
Yeah, Dave, how dare you?
I mean,
I'll
I've
listen
got to
to it
admit, it's a
again.
long album, and I had to,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's that bad.
The first 6 tracks are great, and then it just seems to go fucking nowhere after that. I don't think it's the whole album is great. I think there's, as I said, there was six tracks on there where I thought are absolute bangers. The rest, not so much.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't even think there's 6 tracks that are bangers collectively for Nickelback.
Oh,
So
fucking take that back.
6 tracks. I don't think it's 6 minutes.
oh, no, I'm with you. I really like that first Audio Slave album. That's another album that I played to death.
Yeah.
back
Production, I like production.
Production's fucking great, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like it's polished, but it's not too polished. You can still hear the musicians doing their thing, and it's like it's way more polished than Rage Against the Machine ever was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it works as well because they just got so much passion and power in their playing. So I love it.
Nice! SP Burke mentioned an album that we joked about earlier on when we were talking about Kyle having dreadlocks. Art of the Balance by Shadows Fall.
Yep.
This year is what I'm surprised is none of us have mentioned a new wave of American heavy metal bands yet.
Yep.
Because this is the year it all started.
Yeah.
There's at least 4 albums on here that are from bands that would form the basis of that genre. So
I think the Art of Balance is probably that band's greatest moment. To
it's
be
their
honest.
best album. It's their best
Yeah.
album. I would agree with that as well.
Especially, and even of that time, like that kind of 2002s. It's one of the kind of big ones of that year,
Yeah.
I would say. I
Yeah.
love the production on this. Love the riffs.
Yeah.
Very distinctive vocal tone he's got as well. It didn't quite make
His
it.
melodies, like,
Yeah.
because it's like that aggressive melody that he's got when all the other bands weren't doing that. It was like a cleaner melody they were doing, and he
Yep.
still had that gravelly tone, which I love.
Yeah.
So
There's some real bangers on that one. There's a few skippable tracks, but it's a really good album though. That Art of
that's the
Balance.
other one. So Alive and Just Breathing by
I was wondering
Killswitch.
when that would come
Yeah,
up.
that's there. All That Remains had an album out this year as well.
Killswitch Engaged though. Let's go back to that for a second.
You want
Is
to
it?
talk about it because what my note is beside it is that I'll give you a laugh because yours is probably going to be the same as mine, Dave, or there or thereabouts. I've wrote Kill Switch Engage, Alive or Just Breathing. Cool songs, but prefer the Howard release.
Yes.
So
Yep.
they re-released it after Howard Jones joined the band, with him doing all the vocals on it, and it is infinitely a better release. So
Yeah. I know a lot of people think Alive or Just Breathing is their best album. It's not. The End of Heartache is their best album.
I would
Hands
agree with
down.
that, Dave.
Hands down.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
This one's probably got the more popular songs, weirdly enough. Stuff like My Last Serenade and things like that. But I think this album's got a handful of really good songs.
Yep.
Mainly the first half of the album. But I think as it goes on, it loses a bit of its appeal for me anyway.
They have a song that completely rips off Becoming by Pantera.
Yes,
It's
they
the
do.
same fucking riff.
Yep.
It's like, right, come on.
Yep.
Try again, please.
But yeah, it's egregiously ripped off to the point
Yeah.
where they don't fucking try and hide it. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one as well.
That's a good
I'm with you on that one. That's to me is not their best album, but certainly the one that put them on the fucking map.
Oh, definitely.
Because-
The first thing I heard from Kill Switch was that year, and that song, My
Yeah.
Last Serenade. It was everywhere for a while.
Cool video as well. I liked it 'cause
Yeah.
it was in that
desert.
that spinny toppy thing.
Yeah.
At least it's not a rip-off. Oh, another bad word said about Van Weezer. Come on now.
Oh man, Weezer man, love it.
I know you didn't like it, Seamus. I know you didn't like it. You did review it for the site. But me
What
and
did they give
Duncan
it?
got- was it a 1.5? I think it's like a 1.5, possibly.
A 1.5 out of 2.
It was quite a low score. We did talk about it on our last podcast. We did quite like that album.
Oh, I don't know how you can't like. You'd have to have no soul, Seamus, not to like that. It's fucking catchy as fuck.
2 out of 5. That's not bad.
2 out of 5, sorry.
I say that's not that bad. That's
Dave trying to shortchange you here.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
Dave's trying to start beef between me and you, Seamus, and I won't be having any of it, Dave. This is what he does. He tries to create wedges between me and
Apologies.
the other reviewers, and I won't have it. Right, we mentioned it briefly before. By the way, someone mentioned "Route to Remain" by In Flames, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
might get a bit of kickback from the people that like what's it fucking Jester World or whatever it is. Some press like that. It's their best album. "Route to Remain" is the best In Flames album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Will completely,
Yeah, okay.
massively agree with you on that one. They
It's
haven't
the
done
perfect mix
anything even
between-
close to as good
Yep.
since that. No.
It's the perfect mix between the stuff they were doing, which was really cool guitar work, but nothing really much else to write about,
Yep.
and all the stuff they've done since, which is all the more melodic stuff, the synthy work and all the rest. "Route to Remain" is their best.
Yep.
So
Yeah. See,
I
I
believe
don't
it.
think they were fully committed to the melodic death metal thing, to be honest.
I don't think so
Um,
either. I think it's the same that Soil Work aren't either.
Yeah, totally. You can hear their sound slowly disappearing.
Yeah.
On after Jester Race and what was the other one? What was it? Oracle, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And then more so on Clayman, which is the album before Route to Remain.
yeah.
They were adding in elements of modern metal, bits of kind of synths and stuff like that as well. And they obviously when they came out with Route to Remain, it was a lot like the production was really sleek and stuff like that compared to a lot of their older stuff. And there was a lot more melody and things like that. But I don't think they were fully melodeath like to begin with,
No.
to be honest.
No, no.
I think
It's too much of
only-
a change, and like you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
not like you get a consistent 3 albums or something, and then they start to mellow off. Those, and it's not even mellowing off. It's just a consistent change to a more commercial sound. And like I said before, Soilwork, who had an album out this year, Natural Born Chaos, is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to Chainsaw.
Chain Heart Machine.
Chain Heart Machine, thank you. If you listen to Chain Heart Machine, and it's fucking all over, the guitars are going all over the place, and it's much heavier, and they don't have as much melody. Then you listen to Natural Born Chaos, it is like, I know Devin Townsend did the production on it, but there's a huge jump towards the melodies at the forefront of that. So by the time they reach figure number 5,
Yeah.
I mean, them and Soilwork are, I mean, this is commercial, radio-friendly metal music. In a very short period of time, so
I think that
Oh,
the only
yeah.
thing about Reroute to Remain is I think it does get a wee bit repetitive, the album,
Yes.
as it goes on.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
But what I would say kind of saves it a wee bit is Anders as a vocalist. I think he has a really distinctive tone.
I like him. Yeah.
And I think he kind of pulls up some of the less memorable songs on the album a little bit. But I really like this. I agree, it's probably my favourite album by In Flames.
Yep, Deliverance by Opeth was mentioned earlier on. Not by, we spoke about it briefly, but it was mentioned in the chat. Right, where to go next? There's so many albums, man, honestly, that I want to talk about, and I'll be able to touch on them very briefly. But
I've only got 87 left to choose from.
There's so many to choose from. We did kind of touch on it, so let's swing back to it. Phil Anselmo, same year as he does Superjoint Ritual, he releases Dim 2, which once again I've made very publicly and very clear, much to the dismay of anyone that really likes music. It's my favourite Down album. I think it's their best album. I still think it's their best album. Dim 2 is the one that doesn't sound like the band you expect from all the members that are in it, and that's the big thing for me. When you listen to the first Down album, not taking anything away from it, it's fucking amazing. I know all the songs inside out, absolutely love it, but it sounds like guys from Corrosion of Conformity, I Hate God, Pantera in a band. That second Down album it's a stoner album. It's a stoner rock album. It's got incredible songs. New Orleans is a dying whore. Naked she sleeps on the floor. You're like, yes, Phil. I like Stained Glass Window is Stained Glass Cross. Sorry, is it's for all intents and purposes it sounds like a Clutch song.
Yeah,
like it genuinely does. Front to back, that album's a really interesting listen. It was recorded at the Nosferatu fucking thing, the barn, where they basically locked themselves in for a couple of months, did copious amounts of weed and drank themselves silly, and just recorded. There's a rawness to that production that I think is their sound, man. That's my favourite production Down has. It just sounds like a band like that should sound, and it's an album that has consistently grown on me. Like, because I used to be that first album's the fucking way, man. And over time, it slowly eroded away like that when listening to the second album, to the point now that I actually think, personally, there's a gap in quality between how good that second album is to everything else I've done around it. Which is why when we saw the live stream last year, I did the Down 25 Years in NOLA, and we listened to it, and they played about 2 or 3 songs from Down 2. And I thought they sounded the best out of their entire set. Phil Anselmo's voice is still at the stage. It was already going lower by then, but it's still at the stage where he can do all that shit. Whereas some of that stuff on the first Down album, it really really struggles to hit a couple of those notes. I think it's great. I absolutely love everything about it. I think it's an incredible album. So Down 2. A bustle in your hedgerow, I think is what it's called. So
I used to think there was a big gap in quality between this and NOLA. Like originally when those 2 albums were out, I had a little kind of issue around the production of this one at first, to be honest.
Which used to blow my mind, because I used to be like, Dave's always telling me how he loves a raw production, and this is the rawest.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's through time or whatever, but
say it.
That when I sat and I listened to NOLA and I listened to this back to back, side by side, and I have to agree that this album is an absolute stunner. Like, when I was listening, I was like, I had no issues with the production anymore. I don't know what it was from before. There was something about it I didn't like, but when I was listening to it recently, I was like, this is fucking really good. It's produced by a guy called Warren Riker, who has this will blow your mind. He's worked with Michael Jackson, right? Right, it gets worse. Nemec. Yeah, fucking Nemec. Crowbar, which is fair enough. Cathedral was the other one he'd worked with. I was just like, what the? This guy's all over the place. But I've kind of grown to really like the production on this. It still has the heaviness, but it has this, like, it's got the kind of southern grooves, obviously, but it's got some of Down's kind of hookiest moments they've ever done.
Oh yeah.
As you say, like Stained Glass Cross, or even like Beautifully Depressed is the other one. Like, some of Phil's melodies are absolutely stunning on this. I think it's like it could be probably Down's most kind of complete sounding album in terms of the balance between like the heaviness and the melodies. I think Nola still has that like the filth to it, but
yeah, but give it time, Dave. I'm slowly waiting. This is the I keep telling you, Kyle. That I'll make a 9 Inch Nail fan out of him. Yeah, you give Dave time. He'll argue with me, but sometimes I have to wait 20 years.
sometimes.
But like that 20 years pays off for moments like this where it's recorded. And I'm going to download it. I'm going to watch it once a night. I'll touch my cock. Nice, man. Nice.
A lot.
Me and Katie agree.
Best Down album. Nice.
That never happens.
All right, the gates
Wild
of hell
Hearts
are
are still
opening up.
shite.
Everybody kiss your ass goodbye.
Oh no, man! I'm so happy. What? I don't know your stance on Down, Kyle.
I like him. Maybe not as much as you two, but I do like him quite a lot. So I didn't listen to this album because it didn't pop up on my list, but yeah, you know what? It's their best one.
I'll take that anyway.
Yeah.
I'll take that anyway. Whew.
Nice.
That's made my night, man. Honestly, that's fucking made my night. Because generally when we talk about this is usually when Dave goes, is it though? It is, Dave. And then he pulls my wallet chain back and I'm like, leave it alone, you're going to break it.
Yep. Converted.
Nice.
Okay, who's next? Is it back to Kyle?
No, it's back to you.
Back to me, is it? All right,
Back
fuck's
to
sake.
you, Mr. Dave.
Okay, where am I going next? Okay, this is probably like the most obvious pick on Dave's list, but has to be done.
Come on, because I expected it to be number one, and that's what shocked me.
Well,
I know why it's not number one, because you like the remastered version of it.
So released on Nuclear Blast, produced by the band. The band are Meshuggah. The album is Nothing.
Yeah, this was on my list too, so thanks, Dave.
Yeah,
I knew it would be.
Obviously originally released in 2002, but they did re-record the album again in 2006. I've said in the past, like my go-to is usually the re-recorded version from 2006. They re-recorded it with 8-string guitars,
Fucking not necessary.
which we'll get to the 8-string guitars, but I think this is where it all started, really, on this version of Nothing, 2002. There's something really organic about this version of the album that the re-record doesn't have. It's probably less kind of clinical sounding. The drum sound in particular. What they'd said is basically with the 2006 version, they took the drum hits from the 2002 album and then replaced them with Superior Drummer. I'm assuming it was the drum software at the time, which I think that's what it was they used. So you do lose a bit of that kind of organic feel, that kind of natural feel. And the re-record does come across a wee bit more clinical. But the guitar tone on the re-record is far better in my opinion. It just sounds so
It's thick and
menacing,
fat and heavy and in your face. It's like a goddamn obelisk of tone just falling upon you. But that's the sound they were going for back then, wasn't it? They were going for that very clinical, very sort of... That's what they wanted to do.
That's a marked change. I think that's... It's not... I never... It's the point that Meshuggah went from being... Like Dave, like, to put things in perspective, a lot of people are like, I liked it before it was cool. Dave legitimately liked Meshuggah before they were cool. Like, Dave was listening to them before Chaos Sphere came out. Yeah. Which puts like he was already fully aware of them way back then. And I remember Nothing coming out, and I remember like actually enjoying like that, really liking it, and then you talking about like the remaster and all the rest, and I was like, but do they have to do it? And then to me, that was the point where things started to sound a bit too clinical for me. And it's maybe the last full Meshuggah album, like front to back, that I fully enjoy. And everything after that, there's a handful of songs on the albums that I like the songs, but they went down too much of that. Like the precision became almost off-putting. But I mean, I can't like Nothing is a great fucking album. And it's how they're another band that when you listen to that first album, and then you listen to Nothing, which is it's not even a decade in between their first release and Nothing, and you listen, and it's night and day. They go from sounding like a more technical Metallica to a band
To
that now
fucking
everyone
Meshuggah,
rips
yeah.
off. Yeah, a band that everyone rips off or tries to rip off. Like a band that completely reinvents everything and goes in a completely different direction. It's nuts.
Don't know how they keep doing
good.
it either. Like the last album they released just fucking blew me away again, and it's still the same Meshuggah, but just different. And how?
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear the one they're coming up with this year, next year. It's
So lockdown as well. They've been in lockdown. I imagine, like, if ever
no, they
there was
haven't.
a,
They're Swedish. They haven't been in lockdown at all.
but I mean, if ever there was a band,
I haven't been on the
the
road,
other
but
band
they've
that
been
did like,
rubbing
they did
shoulders with
Bleed,
everyone
right?
in that country.
Yeah, but they did Bleed, right, and Bleed was like, how long did it take the drummer to write that part? I mean, so and like the last year, no one's fucking done anything, right? So I'm telling you, there is the potential that their next release will be their most stunning thing that they've done. I have a genuine feeling that it's going to be on a completely different level because I've heard the evolution of other bands in lockdown raise their game up because all they've been doing is playing. Imagine, but like a band that are already that high on the scale of what they can do.
Yeah, and if you listen to them, like the way that things are going for the band, they obviously started off very organic. They went through that kind of clinical phase of like the
They've come out in there,
re-record, Catch 33, and now like the last 2-3 albums have started to go back towards that more organic sound. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what they do on this next one.
Oh, I'm
That
getting
last
chills
tour got
just
delayed,
thinking about
didn't it?
It did.
The tour
Yeah,
got delayed, didn't it? Which is a
Yeah,
shame
so
because Kyle was going to come over to Glasgow.
Yeah.
I'm still
and
going to
Dave
come
were
over,
gonna-
just
Yeah,
at a different time.
me and Dave were going to bring the anal beads and lube, and it was going to get crazy, y'all.
I have had a lot of practice.
Nice.
Hello. So there we go. Right. I was swinging, but yeah, Kyle has been talking about coming over to Glasgow, and if he does, we're all going drinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nighttime drinking, so one of them, even if I'm sober, they're going to have to help me back home.
Oh, I'm starting like that way. So it's nighttime. Nighttime drinking's when we finish. It starts in the day though. Like when you're over, I'm going day drinking because
Okay,
I
cool.
miss doing that.
Plus,
Dave will be the
now.
Dave will have to be my chaperone to make sure I don't get arrested again.
Last time I went
arrested.
drinking in Scotland, I started drinking on the coast, on the east coast, somewhere. I don't know where. I can't remember the name of the place, but it was very far north of Edinburgh, and I woke up the next day in Edinburgh.
Nice.
Don't know how that happened. Never got an answer.
Could you have potentially been walking 500 miles and then 500 more?
I mean,
There you
my
go.
whole
That's-
body felt like it the other day after. Yeah.
yeah, like,
What are you
Scotland will
putting
do
this
that to
beer
you.
up here? Fucking hell.
Yeah, Scotland will do that to you. Right, we're circling back around to Kyle, aren't we?
Ooh, it's me again. Well, I can't mention Meshuggah anymore because Dave stole it from me. I love that band.
You're welcome.
I did like a Meshuggah light EP on my 8-string guitar when I got it, and it sounds not much like Meshuggah, but you can hear the influence, so I might put it on in the background later. Anyway, so this is like second to last one, I guess. These aren't in really any order, really. We're sort of
At this point, it's anything you want
anything
to do,
I've
to
got
be honest
left on
with
my
you.
fucking list. I think for me, this is. I can't remember if it's the third album or the one they released third, but it had a bunch of songs from before. And I really like it. They have their first album, which I think is their best album. The second album, which was more commercially successful. And then this album, which I think is better than the commercially successful one. And then after that, they just started to suck and let the fucking guitarist start singing in the band. Which
I'm
was a
doing the
goddamn
equation.
mistake.
The equation thing's happening
Yeah,
to me
he's
already.
like,
I'm like,
But it's Steal This Album by System of a Down.
I hate this album.
What? I love
Kyle.
it. It's so good.
Kyle.
I've
It's
got-
half the
wait a sec.
tunes. It's like the first album, but a bit less manic, I suppose. But it's way better than the second one, Toxicity.
Duncan's notes are System of a Down - Steal This Album - not good. How can I hate Steal This Album? Because it's not good.
It's
Once
great.
again, they're a band that did their first album is so good.
But that's
That
why
nothing
I
came close
like
to it.
this album, because they came out with Toxicity, and I was like, meh, it's all right. It's more commercial. But they did this after, and I was like, that's the sound we're after. Do more of this, which they never did. But that's why I liked it. I got it, and this is another physical album I had.
Dave's doing the stank face,
Yeah,
but not in the
the
nice
bad
way.
stank face.
I didn't even re-listen to this.
Really?
Oh no, I did, and I don't like it.
No?
So.
Oh man, I thought you two were gonna agree, but okay, fine, that's cool. I
The
really
Mimic
like it.
Raven, that is yes.
The thing is,
right there.
toxicity sounds to me like it's too sterile and it's too produced and it's all studio magic and all this stuff.
Come on.
It is compared
No
to the
Rick Rubin.
I love Rick Rubin, but there was something there that was not.
Rick Rubin's the first album. I don't think Rick Rubin's the second
Yeah.
one.
No,
was the
yeah,
first one he
no,
did.
yeah. Come on, Rick Rubin is like the master of raw recordings, and like the second album
That's
was
what
not
it
raw at all. And like this first one, just it had that manicness and that absolute complete energy. And this one like brought that back for me. So when I listened to it again
no,
now,
it
I
was
was like,
Rick Rubin.
whoa, it was.
Was it?
Okay, well,
Yeah, it was Rick Rubin.
they must have had some studio or label involvement there because.
Yeah, like we spoke about this before. Like System of a Down's first album to me is so important.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like so important. And for whatever reason, Toxicity came out, and that to me is like I don't believe it. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a kind of tinfoil hat wearing motherfucker. But if I was, I would believe that the record label paid every publication to suck the dick dry of Toxicity because everyone. I mean, it was number one in the UK. I think it was number one in the States. Everyone loved it. And I think it is the most samey sounding pish I've ever like. All the songs, it's and they didn't have that on the previous ones, and everyone loves it. And then Steal This Album came out, and I remember, Kyle, being like, "Oh, they've released another album the year after. This is going to be," and listening to it and going, "This is worse." What the? And then they did that album afterwards.
Oh, it was just
Hypnotised
shit
and
from there on.
Mesmerised,
It was
and
just
it's just a lot of shit.
Yeah, they lost it. I don't know what the fuck. Well, what happened is they let that weedy fucking guitarist, that skinny
We
little
know what
cunt,
happened.
fucking start singing in the band. And I just shut the fuck up. Oh my god, he is the worst person to ever put in fucking a microphone I've ever heard in my life. Jesus Christ.
Little nasal bastard.
He is. Fucking just shut the fuck up. There's a reason no one gives a shit about your two other bands, you know?
Oh fuck.
Because you suck.
Oh.
Shut the fuck up. But
I
no,
hate
this album, it brought back that shit that I thought they lost from Toxicity for me, and I really liked it. Like the first song just brought it all back, Chicken Stew. It was just weird and out there and just made no sense, and it just had that frenetic energy, and I was like, okay, cool. So for me, I like it. I don't give a fuck if anybody else likes it.
Nice. I don't give a fuck. That's the Kiora and vodka kicking in. Right.
This makes you not give a fuck.
Right. Let me move in then and bring you a little bit of. It's a band once again that I didn't listen to when it came out. I got into it much later on when I started getting into post metal, which I was 100% not into in 2002. It just wasn't. I don't even think I was aware of the genre back in 2002. But much later on, when I started getting back into bands like Cult of Luna, and like The Ocean and stuff, I then found myself gravitating back to this little band called Isis.
Yes.
Who in this year released an album called Oceanic, which I think is the best Isis album. And listening to it like 2 weeks ago, for the first time in years,
Yep.
it is so ahead of its time. It is unbelievable.
Yep.
Like honestly, it's like I listened to a ton of albums, like 90, and some of them are kind of quasi post metal bands. But none of them are doing what ISIS are doing then. And what's interesting is if you fast forward within 8 years, there's loads of bands doing what ISIS are doing. They're so ahead of the curve. I genuinely think this is their best album. And what's interesting about it is the mix it's like a combination of, it's not straight out those slabs of post metal that we expect. There's more melodic stuff going on. There's more kind of quieter moments in the album. So there's big kind of, well, it wasn't a ropey name for a band back then, right? If anything, you could say that the terrorist organisation that was established post Al Qaeda maybe it was a ropey name for them. But yeah, like the music is just, it's so dense when it's heavy. But it's so kind of almost, I don't want to use the word whimsical, but it has a really whimsical quality on the quieter moments. I love it. I like coming back to it. It was like a revelation all over again, and it's clear. What's interesting is I think about my taste back in 2002. Had I heard this in 2002, I don't think I would have liked it. And it's interesting that I got into it after I started getting into bands of a kind of post-metal quality. And I think that's what gave me the appreciation for it. And then, like, continuing on, like, ISIS, like, continue putting out great stuff. And then they did that crossover thing, which you know from the Deftones, called Pams, which if no one out there's ever heard the Pams album, they only did one album, is fucking incredible. And they're still, like coming back to it just blew me away. Absolutely. I have that on my list, not as a thingy, but Dillinger Escape Plan, Mike Patton. The only reason I didn't put it in my list is it's an EP and Dave said albums.
Yeah.
Has anyone listened to that recently? Have you listened
to it? Yeah. How?
How could that could have been Dillinger? You know what I mean? That, like, legitimately, had Mike Patton not been like, I've got 17 million projects that I need to do and I need to go and do them, that could have been Dillinger. You could have been in a position where you didn't have, what's his tits? Pucciato, fronting the band. That could have been a complete Dave overruled. That could have been a completely different band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah. So if you missed that, Lisa, my pick was ISIS.
Which is not a ropey band name because it's the name of an Egyptian goddess which came before, before metal and any other thing we care to mention.
Yeah.
So,
I forgot
Oceanic.
How good this album was actually.
Yeah, so fucking good, man.
Went back and listened to it again. It was produced by a guy called Matt Bales who did he worked with like Botch and Mastodon and Deftones and stuff. The production is absolutely sublime. I love the sound of this album. Very like organic. It is very reminiscent of The Ocean. Which is funny because the album's called Oceanic, and this is actually an expansion of their EP, which was called The Red Sea. But if you listen to the album before, if you listen to Celestial, this was like the first time they really expanded on the kind of clean stuff. That like the album before was really just like crushingly heavy and corrosive sounding. But this came with these like really big kind of lengthy sections of clean guitar and ambient sounds and clean vocals and stuff as well. Probably had more of a kind of like almost like a kind of post-rock vibe to it at times as well, whilst incorporating that like post-metal sound. But it's really immersive is how I would describe it. It's quite a long album. It's like about an hour long, but it totally takes you on that journey. And as you said, like if you listen to Cult of Luna in like mid-2000s, very influenced by this album.
Okay, there's absolutely no way any band that was doing kind of the post-metal stuff, like even 2-3 years removed from this, cannot say that this wasn't an influence.
Yeah.
And it's too similar. It's too, like, the Ocean definitely 100%. So.
Yeah.
Oh, it made me happy to read. There's so many albums that this is a fucking great year. It's a great year.
You should do this again with a different year. A better year if one exists.
We will do it like in a couple of we've got to keep people.
All right. Thanks for following me on Spotify, by the way, Seamus. You should
can't
all
tickle
do
the
that.
balls all the time, Kyle.
What?
You only tickle the balls on special occasions, you know.
I suppose. You got me there.
Yeah. Hello. Right, Davey boy, you're up. Once again, more picks in the chats.
More picks, yeah. Let us know. Let us know what you're picking in your top 5 best metal albums of 2002. We have been through a shitload already, but
Seamus.
Nice.
Sounds like you seem to have a lot of special occasions there. It's weekdays.
Oh, you had to bring up fucking Immortal, didn't you?
Right, this is what I was going to say.
All right, okay.
I was never a fan of Immortal, like ever.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
this album, I really liked it.
Really? Oh my god.
Which surprised the ever loving fuck it, mate. You know what quarantine. you know why I liked it? I think the production on it is really fucking good. I make out everything the drums were doing, everything the guitars were doing, and yeah, vocally it's a black metal album, but surprisingly clear, which I enjoyed. Between this, what was the other one that The Behemoth album was the other one, where I
yeah.
put like Duncan's description of the Behemoth album. Raw. My description of the Immortal album was still holds up. I've written that as if I
Good
liked
choice.
it back then.
I mean, I don't know. That's why I never review black metal, because I'd just be like, it's shit. Fucking just stop making music. Stop it. That'll be my whole review. So I did a black metal review once, and they said, "Yeah, we're not going to publish this." I was like, "Yeah, fair enough." So I just refuse to do it nowadays. But I mean, even
Amon
early
Amarth's a band
Behemoth
I've never
and
really
stuff.
listened to.
Amon Amarth, they were, I don't know. They've got like some
Back
good
then,
songs,
they
but
sounded
some
different.
yeah, they got like some songs I really enjoy, but like other ones, they just all sound the same for me. I'm just like,
I prefer him on him later.
yeah,
later date.
yeah, definitely.
Stuff.
Suspiria, I don't know if I know that one. Suspiria Vindication.
They're where are they from?
I know the
Don't
movie
think
Suspiria.
Yeah, I don't know if I've
Because
heard
I own
that.
like 7 copies of it. I'm a mark for a gentleman. I'm a mark.
Yeah, you are.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna go a wee bit more obscure on my next pick.
Ooh.
of course you are.
Well, all the big ones are away. I'm gonna go with a little band from Switzerland that started out in the mid '90s.
All right, Dave.
Oh, Suspiria, those Norwegian guys. I used to know them. My previous band before I had this one, they had like some stuff to do with them. So yeah, that's where I came back. Thanks, Rab. It's brought back a whole bunch of memories from a decade ago. Sorry to interrupt.
It's all right.
Dave's talking about Switzerland.
Yeah, sorry.
Switzerland.
Yeah, because I was like, Suspiria, I know that.
All that sweet Nazi gold and chocolate.
My metal life flashed before my eyes.
The band are Nostromo.
Oh.
What? No, actually. That's not where I thought you were going.
Oh, really?
Really?
The album was called, I'm not sure if it's Ekilex or Esilex, not sure how you pronounce that, in 2002. They were a kind of like a more kind of grindy, kind of hardcore Meshuggah, basically. Kind of, if you imagine like a Meshuggah meets Vision Disorder with some car bomb thrown in, that's kind of what you would get with Nostromo. The production of this is raw as fuck, but it kind of works to capture the kind of that kind of visceral vibe that they're going for. It was actually recorded by the Nazem vocalist at the what do you call it?
in a while.
I know. They recorded it in the Sound Lab in Sweden, which is quite a kind of infamous recording studio. So it makes sense that it sounds like so vicious. But for me, Nostromo are one of these really underrated bands, in my opinion. They never really got the kind of recognition they deserved. They started in the mid '90s, around the kind of time of like Destroy Erase and Prove had just been released. But they never seemed to hit the kind of heights of bands like Meshuggah, which is a bit of a shame because they're a really talented bunch of guys. If you check out this album, you'll hear what I mean. Like the riffs are awesome. They are still active as a band. They put out an EP in 2019, I think. But that seems to be all they do now, is just like wee short EPs every now and again. But this album is superb, really good. And the production might put some off because it is quite raw, but I think it really works for their sound. It's quite a kind of chaotic sound they've got, so it kind of fits, to be honest. But Nostromo are my pick for that one.
The name of the album sounds like what you get at a rave, like Icky Legs. So, I mean, so I don't like when you watch back the video, you'll see yourself say it. You literally see the joke coming into my head, and me trying to suppress it for the whole review. I was using the same technique that I use when having sex, not to nut quickly. I was thinking about my grandmother naked, and that stops it, cuts it off.
Lovely.
Every single time. Right, we're back. We're on the.
I think about it too when I'm trying to get there quicker.
Well, I mean, she was a looker, so I mean,
Yeah. Trust me, I know.
She also had 17 nipples. Anyway, right, Kyle.
Hello, I'm still here.
Who's the
Nostromo.
band?
Nostromo.
Nostromo. As in, like, The Aircraft and Alien.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go. Kyle.
There you go.
Come on.
Me. Right. This is the last one.
Make
right?
it a good one, Kyle. Make it a good one.
Make it a good one. All right, I'm going to make it a good one. It's more Polish death metal.
Oh,
All
It's
right.
not
I thought you were
decapitated,
going to come
though.
in with. I thought you were going to come in with Disturbed.
Fucking fuck Disturbed. Oh my god. You hear the one fucking song they released back then, and you've heard them all. They're all the same. Dave, what's his goddamn face with his two stupid
Dreamin'.
piercings?
Yeah.
Dave Rainman. Fucking, oh my god. It's like,
This is the way I pray.
right? I can do really staccato vocal things every time I open my mouth. I'm surprised he doesn't do it in interviews. In fact, that'd be funny. Do it. Oh my
Oh,
god.
I've told you before. If I've not done it, I might post it in the Twitch, not the Twitch, the Discord for Metal Epidemic of the fake advertisement for Disturbed,
Oh, yeah?
which is like fake greatest hits thing, and it's like with great Disturbed songs such as Nama Nama Na. It's a guy going Nama Nama Na, Nama 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 Na, and it's like and Nam Na Nam Na, and it's they wanna know, no, ha, no, like that, and it's just like a whole lot of Nama Na Na. And it's It's like a 30-second ad. It's amazing.
Oh, I
And
listened
it is
to
every
that.
Disturbed song.
Yeah, that is how they sound,
not it.
and I want to
That
see
is
that
not-
because I bet it's exactly what they're like. I listened to that first time, I was like, yeah, you got one idea and just ran with it, didn't you? That was it. That's the only idea you had. Good
Yep.
job, guys.
And one idea and a Tears for Fears cover.
Which was nothing really to talk about, was it?
Wasn't very good.
No. It was like, did you hear the auto tune in the second chorus? Because I fucking did. Fuck you, David Draymond, you cunt. Anyway, so this is, what did I say? Polish death metal, more of it. Not Decapitated, though. But, I mean, this is an album, again, an album that came out before I got into the band, but I went back and listened to it and fucking loved it. And this is different because Decapitated came, like, from the raw sounding like they were just a bunch of young kids and got better and better and better. And this band started off super, super strong, and I feel like the last couple of releases have not been that great. But this one is Revelations by Vader.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
Vader. I have all of their albums, and I went to Poland to see them live because they hadn't come to Norway for like 7 years, and I was like, I'm just fucking going there. And I went there, and I dragged my family with me. They went shopping. We all had like this whole deal where they go shopping cheap in Poland, and I get to go see Vader with my friend that lives in Gdansk in Poland. And it was great. And then 3 months later, Vader come to Norway, and I'm like, I'm going to see him again. And I think it was with Decapitated as well. Yeah, that was a double booking thing. It was great. And like 3 other Polish death metal bands that nobody gave a fuck about, and they actually cut 2 of their sets short because it was just running on too long. But no, I love this album. I love the dude's voice. I've forgotten his name now. I forget everybody's name this time of night. So I'm talking to my friends here, you know, Ghost and whatever's on his t-shirt. Candiria. All right, cool.
Candiria.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you just say Candiria in a dismissive fashion. That band is fucking amazing.
That's not a band. That's this dude's name.
Oh, I thought I actually thought Candiria. I thought you were going to say, is that like that fake sugar you put in? I was going to say, no, it's Canderel. It's completely different, Kyle.
That's stevia. Come on.
Right in the window.
I can't know what I was talking about. This band's amazing. This album's amazing. You have to check it out. It's some of the best Polish death metal that's ever come out ever. And like all the bands you hear from around then and from the same sort of area, like Olsztyn and Gdansk and stuff, they all just trying to be Vader, because no one can be decapitated. So they're just trying to be like Spinal Cord and Trauma and that other one I've forgotten. There's loads and loads of great death metal from Poland, and they're all trying to be Vader. There's even a band called Ghost from back then, and it's like that's why Ghost had to change their name, because there's a Polish death metal band called Ghost. And before I got into Ghost, I was like, this is the only Ghost people should be listening to.
In fairness, I think they won whatever that thing was, so
Yeah.
they could drop the BC thing, which was stupid.
Yeah.
I'm loving the Demented Ravens description of your T-shirt, which is now Candavia, which is how I'm going to refer to that band from now on. And amazing.
I love that too. So what, have you guys heard this album? Did you listen to it? Or
I've got it was one of the on the list that I didn't
Ah.
listen to because it was close to the bottom. So I did them alphabetical, and there was like I didn't get down as far as the
Vader
bees.
had to be on my list because they're one of my favorite bands. I absolutely love everything they do. Well, the last album was like maybe you should spend a bit more time in the studio, but
Plus, they've been on the go forever.
yeah,
so.
they've been. I mean, that's the thing. They've been
Since
going on the
the
go
80s,
forever.
haven't they?
Yeah, they've been around
Yeah.
since the 80s, and they've been doing consistently good up until those last couple of albums. And I was thinking maybe you should just like take 5 years off and then come back because they keep releasing album after album after album. It's like, okay, guys. But this one especially top of my list because great and nothing to do with Star Wars, which is also fantastic.
Nice. Okay, who's next?
Hey, I've got so many that I could mention.
Yeah, but
at
Seamus,
this
that's
point.
because Disturbed are fucking shit. So they could take 15 years out and they'd come back and be like, we made an album. And we're like, does it sound like shit? They're like, yeah.
Do you want me? I know. I saw them live. I told you it's the funniest thing ever. And he's like, my brothers, my sisters, my blood, from the front to the back to the underground. I was like, are we supposed to jump? What we're doing here?
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I'm so confused right now. So yeah, I've got loads that I could mention, but I'm going to settle on this one because I think, and Dave will disagree with me, which kind of makes me want to say it. Yeah, let's fucking do it. I actually prefer this to the first album.
See you later, Laura. Thanks for hanging out.
I
Don't
love
do
it.
the- Bye.
I prefer it to the first album.
Don't even say it.
I'm gonna say it.
gonna say it.
I think I like it more because I think it's an uglier album. All right, so you don't know what one about, so that's cool. I think it's an uglier sounding album overall, although I think it has more. I think there is more balladies on it overall. But I really like the vocals on it, and I think it just sounds a bit more. You know what I mean? Which I kind of enjoy. This is a little album called Worship and Tribute by a band called Glassjaw.
Oh,
So-
yes.
Glassjaw's first album was Everything You Ever Need to Know About Silence, which is fucking great. Like, take nothing away from it. Like, I remember we were at college when it came out. I remember it like being one of those things where we spoke about it loads. I remember seeing them on the Road Rage tour where Roadrunner were putting out their bands, and they played with Soulfly.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Which makes that was the fucking weirdest. It was Earthtone 9 were the opening band.
That's right.
Then it was Glassjaw, and then it was Soulfly headlining, who had Primitive out. I think Primitive was the album they had out. So they go away. All eyes are on them for their next release. And what I think a lot of people expected them to do, which is specifically what Glassjaw has never done, is release something more commercial in their second album. And Worship and Tribute is not, if anything, it's a step back. It's less commercial than their first album, even though I think the singles on it are probably their catchier singles. As an album as a whole, it's a lot uglier sounding. And they've continued doing that. Actually, everything since then has been progressively harder to enjoy. Like, I don't know why that is, but Worship and Tribute to me it's an album I did not like when it came out at all. I actually thought it was pretty shit, and it took me the best part of a decade to really get into it.
yeah.
And since then, it's the one I listen to more from their back catalogue. I think Daryl's vocals are amazing. They're not as screamy and kind of angsty. I also like the fact that it's not like that first album is all about a messy breakup, and so every second song he's calling women fucking whores and all the rest, which I mean is fine in 1999, but in 2001 I think that we're all a bit better than that. Right, that album was not lyrically. That album has not aged well, whereas the second album, Worship and Tribute, has a more. It just has a more. It's kind of life experiences he's singing about, and I think that's what I enjoy more about it. I think there's just more depth to it. lyrically, vocally, and musically. I just think it's a much more accomplished album. It sounds like a mature album, and that first album feels like an immature album, which is full of great songs. So yeah, I mean, I could have went down the road of about 3 or 4 other bands, but it's probably worth saying it's the one that has grown on me. The first album, I loved it from the moment it came out. The second one has grown on me so much that I actually now prefer it. So, Worship and Tribute, Glassjaw, that was my last album.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. This definitely grew on me over time as well. This one, I still love their debut for me is my favourite. But
yeah,
and I think it kind of overshadowed this album a wee bit. It didn't seem to get as much hype, this album, at all. But I think for me, like, right up until about the last 3 songs of this album are where I think it kind of starts to fade away.
They go kind of
yeah,
all over the place at the end.
A bit strange at the end, but up until that point, it's a really good album. It really is. His melodies are so on point in this album. Probably like better melodies on this than there are on the debut. But you know, the debut has that kind of, I don't know, it puts across this kind of vulnerability, and like you can hear the malice in his voice on that first album. Really comes across in the recording. But yeah, it's a really good album. And like yourself, like over time, I've really kind of grown. This
Production's really good on it. You know what I mean? Like it's not as raw as that previous one. The guitars sound a lot uglier, but for whatever reason, it really suits the sound. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened between that album and everything else they've done since, but it's a big, massive nosedive. I actually almost feel that when he went away and did Head Automatica, he's used Glassjaw as some sort of, if I'm doing something kind of poppy and kind of cheery, then it has to be uglier on the other side. It's the only way I can describe it. So,
there
we go.
Yep.
What you got at the end there, Dave? It's worth saying we've got some more mentioned in here. Stage Turbine Blade by Coheed came out in 2002.
Oh yeah, yep.
The Mantle by Alagog, which I listened to. Yeah, I listened to for the first time. It's very long.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, it's rated as amongst most of the publications, it's rated as album of the year.
Yeah.
And I was expecting a whole lot more from it because I'd never listened to it, and my enduring memory of listening to it for the first time is it's very long. I didn't listen to Hostile Ambient Takeover by the Melvins though.
No, I didn't either, actually.
I like the Melvins as well.
Nice.
Cool. What you got, Dave?
This one is this is like, for me, this is a very kind of memorable album for me. One that I kind of played on repeat when I first heard it. I missed the initial release of it in 2002. I didn't find out about the band until much later, and they'd already released 2 albums since this album. But the band were called Freak Kitchen.
Dude, I listened to this for the Move.
Yeah, Move, yeah.
I listened to this for the first time today, right?
Oh, really?
Duncan's notes, right? Freak Kitchen, Move. Makes me want to dance, y'all. Legitimately, I've never been so willing to hand over my child in payment for an album. I can't remember you ever mentioning these guys.
Yeah. I reviewed one of their
great.
albums for Rock and Reel. I loved this band for ages.
Oh, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah. This is the one that I probably go back to the most. The ones after that were really good as well, but this one's got the hooks, man. It really has got massive hooks on it. It's kind of like Meshuggah went pop almost. Like
it's 100 like guitar. Like the first track kicks in, Freak Kitchen is the name of the band. The guitars kicked in. I was like, oh right, this is it's got a kind of thrashy sort of like that, and then the vocals come in and they're funky as fuck.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the I was so confused. And then the chorus kicked in and I was like, I love this. I love it.
Yeah. It's so batshit crazy. Like they managed to capture this just an oddness, but at the same time it's really memorable. Just lyrically as well, it's just fucking all over the place. But you know what it kind of reminds me of, not that these albums sound similar in any way, but kind of like the Presidents of the United States, that first album they released. The lyrics on that were fucking, like, the lyrical themes were all over the place. But it's so memorable, it sticks in your head. And this is like that as well. Like, it's just, the things they're singing about are fucking ridiculous, but it just sticks in your head. It's so weird. But yeah, this album just it's one of those albums that just sinks its hooks right into you, front to back. It's a really really strong album. It does have the odd weak track actually. It's not like complete banger from start to end, but it's a really fun album. Really fun. I think they might be. Are they Norwegian? They might be Norwegian.
It's a Norwegian
I need to
sounding
check
name.
that. The guitarist is very popular. He does a lot of these kind of like. He's always at these fucking guitar shows and is it Nam and all that kind of stuff. He does all that sort of stuff. Like he's quite a popular guitarist.
That's Swedish.
Is it Swedish? All right. Okay.
Yeah, they're really good. Like that was my first listen, and yeah, it was today as well. I was sitting at my desk going.
I gotta check them out. I've never heard of them. They didn't pop up.
Oh
my list.
man,
Yeah,
so
gotta
good.
check them out.
So good. So good. I need another beer. But when I come back with maybe a peanut whiskey, and when I come back, we're going to do some honourable mentions. Can we get some more in the chat?
Yeah.
On the way, and Dave will keep you
Honourable
occupied,
mentions.
and Kyle will sing to you.
A big brown job is back. Nice. Brown
Yes.
stallion.
Brown Stallion back in the house.
It was allowed back in, was it?
Yeah.
After the flood of 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Fucking hell, man. It was pretty like almost to the top, full of water, sitting on the table, and I was just packing away my laptop and stuff. I knocked it over and just about flooded the house with the fucking water that was in this thing. It went everywhere.
Oh yeah. Oh, Pagan's Mind. Yes, Rab. Oh, come on. That's such a good band.
Ooh,
Oh.
nice.
Kalmar. Oh man, Kalmar, one of those bands that they did that whole super deep down tune stuff as well for a while. Kalmar,
Yeah.
Babylon, Skindred. I never got into Skindred. I like that one song, but not really much else, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't give them enough of
Oh
a
yeah,
chance.
good album.
Yeah. Mm.
Babylon by Skindred. It's a
Yeah.
good one. That's pretty hot, Seamus. Yeah.
Orange Goblin. They're one of those bands. They were supporting Alice Cooper and Dio at the first gig I ever went to. And since then, I've been a huge fan. Because literally, that's the first time I'd ever heard of them. There's a band out there called Orange Goblin. I was, 14 or something? I was like, that's a cool band name. And then they played. I was like, yes, they're awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool band. We interviewed them in Glasgow
Oh, really?
back when we were doing Rock and Roll. Yeah, cool
Nice.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
The singer's right into horror, so him and Duncan were just like chatting horror the whole time.
That's fun. We're here to talk to you about your music. How about horror?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wish I could see him again. Oh, I can't wait for gigs
Yeah.
to start up again. I might actually risk it.
Might risk it. Yeah.
There's been a few gigs announced here, but nothing I really want to go see. There's like nothing like you've got over there. Every time you post something in that gig section in the Discord, I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to that. I'm just going to move to Scotland.
I know, like a lot of them that I'm posting, for some reason they always miss out Norway. I don't
I know,
understand why they do like fucking Sweden and fucking
Denmark.
Denmark,
And
but
then Norway, they're
no,
like,
Norway.
fuck it. They've done that for years. If you go back in my Twitter for years ago, it's just like, oh yes, the Cannibal Corpse are touring again. They've gone to Sweden and Denmark, and Norway are just like, eh? Fuck Norway.
what's that all about?
It's because of that fucking song by what's his name, Weeble. Forget Norway. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. It happens all the time. I see it. Just like, well, we have the big festival. What's it called? Tons of Rock. Lots of people come to that. And,
Yeah.
but I mean, I guess they just figured, well, you know what? You've got Dimmu Borgir, so you go see them anytime, can't you?
True. Yeah. At the end of the year's looking pretty decent over here actually. November, December time is looking like a fair amount of good bands are coming over here, so
Sweet. I might
Hopefully.
have to take a trip over and warm up for a bit.
yeah. Oh, Lisa, nice shout, Acacia Strain.
Oh, I haven't listened to
I
them
love
in
that album.
ages.
Yeah. That early stuff they did was fucking awesome. I loved that. And then they did, what was the one after? Was it 3750? Was that the album after that? I think. But the early stuff's really good. Really like the early Acacia Strain.
You know, it popped up on my list just randomly. I mean, it wasn't from 2002, but the Arusha Accord. What happened to them? I
No, I
really
think-
like them.
I think they're back because The
Oh,
Russia
really?
Accord had members of Devil Sold the Soul.
Yeah.
And when we interviewed Paul from Devil Sold the Soul way back,
Mm.
at that point he said that the Russia Accord were starting to do stuff again. And I'm sure they released like a single of some kind not long ago.
Oh, yeah?
So,
Missed
yeah,
that
keep your
one.
eyes peeled. There'll probably be something coming out for them. Yes, that is also on my list, Lisa.
Yeah.
Black Label Society. 100 WK, yeah. Good times.
Oh, yeah, they're into Devil Soul the Soul. Okay, fair enough. Maybe I'll check them out. More beer. More Duncan. More Ghost.
Yes, I'm just checking back through. Black Label Society,
Yeah.
mentioned by Rab. First time listen for me on my list of things
What?
for this
First
album.
time?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
I was never
God.
like Black Label Society is a band that has never been like pitched to Duncan.
Right.
Because everyone always talks about the guitars, and I couldn't be fucked about guitars. But I listened to it and really enjoyed it. Duncan's
Good album.
notes on it, because I've written a
Duncan's
one
notes.
line against all these albums. In brackets, really enjoyed this.
Nice.
Why is it in brackets?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Just the one album just in brackets. Like, yeah, really? Like,
it's the
it's
only
whispering
co-
to yourself, like, I really enjoyed this, but don't tell anyone.
It's the only one that's in. It's the only one of all the comments that's in brackets as well. I don't know why I did that. So, let's see what else have people said.
Coldplay? Who the what?
Look at the stars.
Rush of Blood to the Head by Coldplay. Okay, I'm assuming you're joking.
Pyro,
Yeah,
thanks for the resub. That's
Coldplay's
awesome,
very-
dude.
Coldplay is not very yellow. Coldplay is very beige.
Coldplay.
And it was all yellow.
That Chris guy seems like a fun dude to hang out with, but the music is like, I just want to punch myself in the dick every time any of their songs come on.
Hey, look at the stars.
I'm about to
What else
lose
people
it,
be
Duncan. I swear to God.
Yeah, we've had a couple of mentions. Orange Goblin, Skindred.
Right, so Orange Goblin. Duncan
Rouse,
had
what's
also
up,
never
dude?
listened
Been
to this
ages. How you
Orange
doing?
Goblin album.
Orange Goblin, yeah.
Yeah, so I hadn't listened to the Orange Goblin album before. I put So Good, like an early clutch. What else?
Yep. Skindred, Babylon.
Skindred Babylon. Duncan has put beside it, absolute banger. I
this.
fucking love Babylon. I've said it before. I think we said it in the previous Twitch, and I got some shade from Dave. I think it's their best album. Easy selector. You know what I mean? He does Crazy Frog in it. Ring da ding da ding digga digga.
Jesus.
Love it.
What else we had? Casey Strain, obviously, and Life is Very Long.
Acacia Strain. Duncan had also never heard this album.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Duncan wrote, "How different do they sound to you?" Question mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
What else we got? Honourable mentions.
Oh, I have like a laundry list
where
of
was
honourable
that?
mentions here.
Yeah, this one actually, I gave this another listen. Demon Hunter self-titled.
I have notes on this one as well. So you go first, and then I'll swing in.
Duncan's notes. This is like it's close to one of their best, to be honest. It's metalcore, so don't expect anything overly complex musically, but vocally this is where this band excels. Like Ryan Clark has a tone that would sound good regardless of what he's singing about. Thankfully on this he writes some absolute earworms, but the choruses are huge. They will 100% get stuck in your head afterwards. I think it's close between this and their follow-up, Summer of Darkness, because it also had some really good songs, and I think the production was probably slightly better on Summer of Darkness, more kind of polished. So it gives it maybe a slight edge there, but
Read my notes.
oh really?
My notes say not as polished as their follow-up, which I prefer. So
Yeah, I probably prefer that album as well. This one's close second though. It's a really good album.
yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think the melodies are better in the second album, and the second album feels like a bigger album. But this one's really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
Rouse, we've talked at great length about Deliverance and Just Breathing, and yeah, you're not wrong.
What I'm just looking at all my notes. They get progressively worse. Right.
Lisa, yes. Rab, yes. That was absolutely on my list until I remembered no fucking EPs.
Yeah, it's an EP. Like, it would have been on my list. Like, I was convinced The Trees Are Dead had come out in 2002.
No.
I was like, because I had a distinct memory of listening to it about the same time that I was listening to the album that I'm about to mention. But it turns out there was a whole year between them. Talking about the new wave of American heavy metal, this band were lumped in, but should never have been lumped in. 36 Crazy Fists and Bitterness of the Star.
Oh, yeah.
I love this album. I love it. It has some issues. The issues are it's not their best album, and also the vocals do get a bit weary at times.
Fucking Darren vocals. Oh my god.
It's come on. He's got a natural vibrato in his tone, and I couldn't remember it being as egregious as it is on that first release. He loses it in other releases, but back then it's. And why are staying for and you're like, oh, what the fuck are we doing?
Sound like
here?
a wizard from Lord of the Rings casting a terrible spell.
What he sounds like.
Jesus.
Literally what he sounds like. But it's got like tracks like "Bury Me Where I Fall" are just you know what I mean? They're like really fucking
Darren
good.
Sitting on a washing machine.
That's what they sound like. That's what I swear to God. They were lumped in with all those new wave of American heavy metal bands, and I, listening back to it compared to some of the other ones we've discussed, I don't know why, because they don't follow any of those tropes at all.
No.
I think it was just a case of, they're American, shove them in. They're American and they're new, so that'll work. But yeah, it's a really good album. I prefer their second album, if I'm honest. I think. Which I can't remember what that's called. It's Snow Capped Heart, I think, is the second album. That rings a bell. It has the heart with a nice Snow Capped Heart, I think it is.
Romance.
Snow Capped Romance.
Can't remember.
Is the better album. But this one has a couple of bits that kick in there, just like the tits, man. So 36 Crazy Fists, Bitterness, the Star. What
about Order of the Weeks by Napalm Death?
Well.
Now, if having been high on life on that last Napalm Death release, I was keen, having listened to Cannibal Corpse and found out that all of a sudden I'm a Cannibal Corpse fan overnight. I mean, I'm sure they're overjoyed that I've suddenly committed to them as an entity. I went back. I think it is okay, but I don't prefer it to the new album. I think the new album is head and shoulders above it, but it's to put things into perspective, we're talking about this album being almost 20 years older than the one they've just released. Yep. And it's no less vicious, like, at all.
No, not at all. This is a relentless album. Like,
fucking heavy, man.
Start to finish, it's just filled with brutality and speed. I think it's a really surprisingly good album, I think, this one, but I think it does start to become a little bit samey, and I think it's that kind of lack of variety that kind of hinders it a little bit. And like, realistically, when you... Duncan's alright.
I'm sorry, Machine Citizen said, how could I not become a Cannibal Corpse fan after I heard them in Ace Ventura Pet Detective? New England clam chowder. I don't know, right? I tried. Dave, the problem is, and Dave will attest to this, right? We have this kind of weird relationship. It's why we've got on for as long as we have, right? We don't always see eye to eye. Dave will push things on me, including sexual advances, which I will sometimes acquiesce to, and then he'll push other things on me that Dave will be like, you need to listen to this, or you need to watch this, or you need to do this. And I will wait years, and then I will do it and play it off as if I come up with it. Dave, I've listened to this album. It's amazing. Have you heard of it? Dave's like, told you about it 5 years ago, you cunt. It's literally what it's like, right? On the flip side of that, I will recommend things to Dave. Dave will check them out there and then dismiss them, and then 20 years later he'll come back and tell me I'm right. So that's a relationship, and that's how it works. And you push Cannibal Corpse I mean, I didn't dislike them. I don't know what it was. I just lumped them in with a sea of death metal bands, and for whatever reason, this most recent release has worked for me to the point that when I went back, I'm so keen to go through the rest of their discography with Corpse Grinder now, because having gone back to that album, it clicked with me. First listen, which Cannibal Corpse albums don't do. Just like first listen, I was like, oh, this is fucking brilliant. So I will listen to them more, is what I'm saying. I'm going to buy a t-shirt, I'm going to wear it on Twitch. Right. So I will do that, but I was surprised by how much it kind of bowled me over. Dave, sorry I interrupted you because Twitch.
No, I was just saying, like, the Napalm Death album, it's a very strong album, but when you line it up against their full back catalogue, it's probably further down the list than you would think. Listen to the album, because that last album was just gold, absolute gold.
So good, man.
And they've done some really good stuff. Even in the last kind of 5 years or so, they've done some really good stuff. But it's surprisingly good. I would still check it out. Order of the Leech by Napalm Death. It's still a really good album. Worth checking out.
Nice. Do you want me to swing on with another one?
Go for it.
These guys have got a new album that they're recording right now, and I think I'm the only person on the planet that is super excited about this. I really, really like them. I don't think this is their best album. I think the following album, and its name escapes me, and I may have to do this while I'm stretching this out and padding for time. But I think they are a great addition to... How do I spell this? I think they're a great addition to the incredible work from... That's the button right there. From Denmark. This is a Danish band. The band are called Raunchy. And this was them releasing The Velvet Noise, which I really like. It's very raw sounding. Confusion Bay is the one that kind of put them on the map. Death Pop Romance, I could have named this album because it sounds like something I would have named, is my favourite, but all the elements are there for their sound. They just kind of refine them over time. I think it's really, 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 really good. And it's worth checking out because there's enough time passed now that you can go back and listen to them and hear that they really did evolve. That they're another band that start off being very raw sounding and then get surprisingly polished very quickly, where you can hear them like, oh, right, we need to do melodic synths and do a bit more melody and a bit of this and a bit of that. But right back then, they had a really cool crafted sound. And another band that did exactly the same, Protest the Hero, way back in the day with a calculated use of sound, which if you go back and listen to, has bits and bobs and elements of what you would know, but it's nowhere near as kind of polished as something like Fortress. But it's really, like, musicianship wise, it's still fucking well up there. Guitar playing's ridiculous on it. So so there you go.
Nice. Kyle, you got any
sneaky ones?
Well, I wanted to talk about that Mudvayne album because it came out that year, and my god, is it not their best one?
No.
Not by a long
Here's
shot.
my... We've spoken about this before. My issue is the production, not the songs.
Yeah,
I actually think the
agree.
songs are fine.
Yeah, I think the songs are good. Yeah, the production is absolutely fucking horrific.
It's
The guitar
David
tone is like...
Bottrell.
It's like...
Yeah.
It just sounds tiny, like it was recorded in a can. I'm like...
It's David Bottrell. David Bottrell did Lateralis by Tool the year before.
How is
And
that
it doesn't
possible?
equate to me.
Yeah, because
It doesn't
Lateralis
equate to
sounds
me.
insanely good. But like this... I just didn't get it. I mean, the songs are good, and I remember enjoying Not Falling, but that was way back before I was into production and stuff.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I'm like, this fucking sucks. Like, the song's really good. I'm sure if they re-recorded it or, remastered, remixed it, they'd have to change those guitar tones completely. But like, yeah, I just couldn't get over it. Like,
Hi,
what the
DJ
hell?
Tom.
DJ Tom, it's good to see you again, man. How's it going? Hello.
Yeah, it's so strange. Because like I say, musically, I think it's really, really interesting. But all the stuff that makes LD50 punchy and memorable is all that production.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. It's tight. Like, Mudvayne are a band that benefit from a tight drum production, a really good bass sound, and punchy guitars. And when you take when you weaken the guitar sound, which you do on that, it just doesn't have the same oomph or impact. Although in saying that, Chad's vocals are amazing on the album.
That's true.
Really, really, really good.
Really good.
Really good.
Yeah, and even the bass feels a bit like, because Ryan Martini's a fucking insane bass player.
Yeah.
He's so good. But like even everything's just sort of toned down a bit. It's just like, what
Yeah.
happened? Like, how did they sign off of this? Maybe they were just on all of the drugs.
I mean, maybe. The thing is, their following album, the production goes the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The production goes so fucking like so pristine
Yeah.
and so polished that it looks. That's why they're the band I keep going back to. That like when LD50 came out, they could have been the most interesting band in that kind of new metal bubble if they wanted to be, and look where they are now.
Well, they're coming
Like
back.
I want to stress, the singer released his song.
Oh
for
yeah,
his new
that.
wife. You're always on my mind cover, and I thought, oh, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be like a metal version of it. No, piano ballad.
Mudfane's greatest hits is just
I
LD50.
didn't tell you. Like, fuck off. Get to fuck like that.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I couldn't even
Oh,
make it
so
through
bad.
the whole song. I was like, this is... I mean, come on, Chad. You've done better than this. Come on.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Let me swing a wee one for you, Davey. Hadn't listened to this in ages. Duncan's note beside it. I love this. Right? Norma Jean, Bless the Martyr and Kiss the Child.
Oh yeah.
It's like someone grabs your testicle skin and pulls it out like a bat wing and then starts piercing it with pins.
I don't want to listen to this.
Yeah.
Somehow.
So vicious, man. It's so vicious. Like, it just sounds like the singer is hurting himself and the guitarist are hurting themselves and the drummer's not hurting himself because he's a drummer, but everyone else is in pain. Oh,
Yeah.
so good. So good.
All right.
Good album.
A metal version
Yeah.
of what? Oh, that cover. Yeah, fucking. You're Always on My Mind. How would you even do that metal? You'd have to
It's not metal. That's the point.
I know.
It's a piano and him singing over it, but not singing the cool way that he does in Mudvayne. Actual crooning. It's as good as Danzig does to Elvis, right? That's literally what you're dealing with. So it's that. I shit you not. It's that. It's on YouTube. Go and find it. Chad Gray.
Oh.
You're always on my mind.
I know, I
I
didn't
did
equate
finish
the
it.
two because I listened to it and I couldn't make it through the whole song. But where that fails, Danzig makes me laugh out fucking loud because that is just, he takes it too seriously.
Yep. Speaking of Danzig has an album from this year, and
Oh, really?
It's not very good.
No.
I did my research. Danzig's album is called Danzig 777.
Oh, yeah.
I Luciferi.
You know, yeah, I did listen to that and yeah, I turned it off. It was fucking, it's not good.
It's not good?
No, like, you can tell from the
did make me-
title.
It made me go, mother.
Yeah.
Fucker, this is bad. So Davey's sitting on a good one, I can tell.
Yeah, look at his face.
I've got a few new metal ones actually.
I've got a few new metal ones, Dave.
What, from
What's it?
2002?
Actually-
Come on. Only Cold
well,
Chamber
what
released
was-
an album that year. And it wasn't very good.
This one was kind of starting to diverge into other kind of genres, but Taproot Welcome,
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, there you go.
A great album.
Yeah.
very underrated album.
Yep.
Really started to kind of mature their sound on Welcome, especially melodically. His vocals are fantastic on this.
Yeah.
Some of the choices he makes are really kind of unexpected, but they really work.
It's still got that ugly as fuck guitar sound.
Yeah,
Like, see
yep.
when it goes heavy, like the clean stuff is beautiful to listen to.
Yeah.
And I remember, like we said, like when you were there when they at the Deftones gig.
Yeah.
Yep. Like live, I don't. He literally has a switch, and whatever that switch is, it goes from nice guitar to ugly as fuck. And it just hits it, and the guy's like, there's nothing of him. He's like a toothpick with a guitar, and he has the ugliest guitar sound fucking ever.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So it's a good
I
one.
like that album. He's got a really distinctive vocal tone as well.
Yeah, yeah. I've always loved his vocals. I that's what to me, like, because he could do the kind of rappy stuff on Gift, but they dropped that pretty quick when they started when they do Welcome, and then they move into what's the name of the other album? The one that's their best album that came after Welcome.
Was it Blue Sky Research?
Blue Sky Research is Blue Sky Research is a flawless album front to back. There's not a bad song on it. So
It's a good album. Yeah.
Right, here's another new metal one.
Have a good shower, Kieran. Try not to think too hard of Duncan.
I mean, well, you used the word hard, so it's now impossible not to. You planted that in him.
Before you planted
non-point.
Non-point.
And development.
How did I? Well, I didn't stress. It's not on my list here, but development is. And Dave will disagree with me. Development's my favourite non-point album.
Ooh, interesting.
I think it's the absolute 100 best, like by far. Your signs are pointing to nowhere.
Yeah.
I fucking love that, man. Absolutely, I did not have that on the
Absolute
list.
bangers. Yeah.
Yeah, you liked the one that came after, didn't you?
Yeah, I loved Recoil. Love that album.
It's weird how it's just like they're so close, but
Yeah.
Is Recoil the one with the Phil Collins cover?
I think it might be actually.
I think that's why you like
might
it
be.
more, Dave.
It's an album for
I
drummers.
think it might be because it goes all kind of like. Is that the one where he goes all kind of Spanish in it?
Arabia is the song, but it does a whole song in Spanish.
All right. Right. Yeah. I know the one you mean.
That's Recoil. That's Recoil.
Yep.
Development. I just like because development. The whole theme of it is audio clips of a frog's development, which is weird. But that was the songs are fucking great.
Yeah. They played actually when I saw them live. They played a lot of stuff from development. A lot of kind of crowd pleasers on that album actually.
Do you remember why I wasn't there?
No, I don't actually.
So we were all supposed to go and see Non-Point play the Cat House.
Yeah.
And I had a ticket to go, and I was working that day. By then, I was living and working in Stirling. I managed a video store. How very Quentin Tarantino of me, I know. And I went out for my lunch, and I went to Subway for my lunch, and my wallet was stolen, and my ticket was in it.
All right.
I couldn't go, and what I wanted more than anything was Dave to tell me that it was a terrible gig, and Dave raved about it. Didn't you meet the band that night?
Yeah. I won. I won
Cunt.
tickets. I won 2 tickets to meet the band. After the show.
Dick.
Yep.
I was raging as well. Not only did I lose my money, my bank card, and all that shit, but the thing that I wanted most was to go and see Non-Point, and I didn't. And Dave did, and he got to sit with the band. And
yeah.
This is before the days that you could get people to phone and leave messages on your mobile phone. I mean, it was before then, because I'm sure Dave would have done that.
Probably.
But we are talking about new metal, so we might as well get a couple of other ones out of the way. How about a band and an album that I've marked in my notes as shite, which is the self-titled album by Trapped.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah.
No.
Not good.
No.
They're almost as bad as Stained. Almost.
Duncan marked the next one, which is a new metal band, as doesn't live up to the hype. This one was pushed so hard by Roadrunner Records. This was 5.0, and the album Untitled.
Yep.
Untitled. They have a weird thing, Roadrunner, where they'll push a band so fucking hard you think they're going to be the next best thing, and then you listen to their songs, it's like, why are you pushing this shit?
Yeah.
Why?
This is about the same time that they did. We were talking about underrated albums, and I picked Downer as an underrated album. Back then, what Roadrunner would do is they would essentially acquire bands so other labels couldn't get them. They would record an album with them. They would make a music video, and then they wouldn't tour. They wouldn't put them out properly on tour, and then they would basically hold them in limbo until the band folded.
Yeah, it's just what the fuck. It's strange.
Seamus is saying 5.0 were from my neighbourhood. They sucked before they got signed, and they sucked afterwards. That is good to know. One that's not new metal, but it comes into the awkwardness between new metal and emo or screamo.
I know where you're going here.
And I unabashedly love this fucking album. So look at your face, you're so disgusted with me. But I think it's once again it's an album full of memorable songs.
It's front loaded as fuck.
It's front loaded as fuck, but the name of the album as a song comes later on.
Wait,
so you have to
hold
listen
on.
to
I'm
get
sorry
to
what? They have the worst lyric I've ever heard. They call rapists freelanced gynecology.
That's
There's
true.
a band in the world that wrote that lyric and released it
On Roadrunner.
on.
On Roadrunner.
I'm done.
If memory serves, they're a Monty Connor band as well. So, if memory serves, right. So, it is a bit front-loaded. There is some gems in the middle, and then they have the title track later on. But the last couple of songs are really good. The band are Finch, and the album is What It Is to Burn.
Yeah.
I love this album.
Not the worst.
I
album.
loved it
I liked
then,
yeah.
as cheesy as it was, and I got fucking ridiculed for it then. But I kind of still love it now. So.
Yeah, those first, like the first 5 tracks are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then the formula just kind of gets repeated, but not as good as the first 5 tracks.
Clearly influenced by Glassjaw as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can say that again.
The other one that was kind of new metal-ish. It was a wee bit inconsistent as an album, but I quite enjoyed some of the tracks. The band were 40 Below Summer, and
Yeah.
Invitation to the Dance was the album.
Never heard of it.
I really like that.
I just
like
realised my face looked disgusted. Like, what the fuck you saying? But it's really like I've never heard that band. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
You've never.
No.
Dave brought them back from America.
That's right.
Brought them back. Yep. Dave
Yeah.
brought them. Like Dave used to go to Florida every year, and see you later, Paul. And
See you later.
Dave would go to America, and Dave would come back with a fucking pile of CDs, which he would listen to, and then you would get like shots of. And it's how I found so many bands back in the day. Without Dave going over there, I wouldn't have heard bands like Soil with that great one album that they had. But 40 Below Summer, particularly, was it Medicate you came back with? Is that the name of the album?
Invitation to the Dance was the album. Medicate is a track on it.
Yeah, Medicate's fucking amazing. That was the track that hooked me in. But yeah, Dave used to come back with loads of those ones, and that's a great album. So.
Didn't they seem to get pushed over in the UK at all?
I get the feeling they were one of those American-only bands.
Yeah. What was the track I quite liked? Step Into the Sideshow, I think, was the track I quite liked from that album. It's quite a cold and kind of metallic sounding production as well. It's quite weird for a kind of new metal album, but it was alright. It's not like front to back amazing. There are some kind of dips in quality on the album, but there's some cool riffs on it. Another one that I really liked was Hatebreed, Perseverance.
It's on my list. I went back to that with Duncan's notes. Hatebreed.
Duncan's notes.
Hatebreed, Perseverance. What was my note? Fucking great.
Nice.
Keeping it nice and simple.
Obviously their debut is probably still my favourite album, which is Satisfaction is the Death of Desire. But this album still had a bit of that, that kind of really kind of aggressive pace. But they started to kind of incorporate more the kind of more slower, kind of mid-paced hardcore elements, which we hear from them now. But it's a great album. The early stuff was really good, and then they just became really fucking boring and predictable as fuck. But this is like top 3 Hatebreed albums. Perseverance would definitely be in it. It's a good album.
Nice. What else we got?
One that you've not mentioned that I thought you might have mentioned before now is Hatesphere, Blood Red Hatred.
It's on my list. I peek behind the curtain for Blood Red Hatred. So Blood Red Hatred was the first album I heard by Hatesphere, and Dave. Am I frozen again?
Yep, a little bit.
Yeah.
Just
I'm gonna jump back in so you can see how animated my face is. I've got a really cool Hatesphere story, so I'll be right back in 2 seconds.
Okay.
Gonna have to make a
Coming
new scene
back.
that's just you and me for when he has to jump in and jump back out.
Duncan.
Oh, Duncan. Interrupting your own story with your own frozen face. I say you should stop living in the freezer, but I'm the one that lives in Norway, so.
Yeah.
True. I've got one other that I kind of enjoyed, and it's another nostalgia thing,
Yeah.
and I feel embarrassed saying it in
Yeah.
front of Duncan. No, I don't. But it's Lacuna Coil. I liked that one back then. I listen to it again now, and it's like, oh yeah, it's not a bad album. What the fuck happened to them?
Yeah.
Like, they've done some stuff, but I haven't really kept up with them at all. But yeah, I enjoyed that one. That's about it. The rest of it was just Meshuggah. I just listened to Meshuggah the whole fucking time. This album's so good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What else have we got in here? Oh, here he's coming.
Oh, he's coming back. Everybody brace yourselves.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, Hatesphere, Dave gave me this album way back in the day. Burned on a CD, because that's how fucking great we were. We weren't using none of this mixtape pish. It was burned on a CD with no label, handwritten scroll with permanent Sharpie. There you go, kid. I gave it a listen. I remember Dave giving it to me and going like that. Hatesphere is Slayer. Well, you go and listen to it. Danish Slayer. And I checked it out, and Blood Red Hatred I fucking loved, absolutely loved, and got like really into Hatesphere for a wee while. And then we formed a band, and me and Dave were playing in the band, and it was all great. And then circa, what would it have been? 2000 and, well, I can find out actually, because the album they released was Serpents. So it was 2008.
Right.
2007, 2008. Their singer, Hand as we called him, the Hon, because he was 6 foot. Like Dave's 6'4", for those that don't know. He's a tall bastard, right?
Jesus Christ, I had no idea.
Oh, he's a
mountain.
He's a big lanky glass of fuck, right?
I've got to go to
That's Dave,
Scotland
right?
and visit Mount Dave.
Yeah, he's a tall lad, right? The singer for Hatesphere, what was his name again?
It's not Jasper. No, it's not Jasper.
No, it's not Jasper. I can't remember.
Jacob.
Right?
Jacob.
Jacob, right? Jacob must be about 6'6",
He's
6'7".
fucking massive, yeah.
He's a tall son of a bitch, right? Hands like fucking shovels, because we saw them open for Gojira
Yeah.
at the best gig we've ever been to, at
Oh.
King Tut's in Glasgow. Gojira touring from Mars to Sirius, and Hatesphere opening for them.
Yeah.
It's the only gig that Hatesphere ever played in Scotland, and Hatesphere were amazing, and then Gojira were even more amazing. And I remember, like, we went across to the merch bit, and the singer's hands were like shovels, like literally the biggest fucking hands I've ever seen in my life. Hands big enough that if you wanted to put them around my head and crush it like a can, you probably could. And so I was totally into them. And then he left the band after that, and they put out a call for essentially for singers to audition for the band, which I duly did, not thinking anything would happen. And then they invited me to audition for the band, so I travelled out to Aarhus in Denmark. I had the weirdest fucking night ever, because I literally arrived at the airport, got picked up from the airport by the band, driven out to Chu Madsen's rehearsal area, where I played a full set with them, did my vocals. Then I didn't have anywhere to stay because I hadn't organised anything. So they drove me to a hostel where I got drunk with the German guy who auditioned for me, but auditioned for them beforehand. And me and him drank Tuborg beer, which I'd never had before, all fucking night. He bought me a lot of beer, got very, very, very drunk, slept in there, got up in the morning, got the only bus back to the airport 8 hours before my flight, because it was the only one that went back out at that time. Had to basically sit 8 hours in the airport, fly back over to Scotland, fly over to Heathrow, had to sleep in Heathrow on the floor for my flight back up to Scotland to go home to get dressed, showered, dressed, and then out to meet Big Davey and the band, because we were opening for Amen at the Barfly. And I felt like this is what it's like to be a rock star. Didn't get the gig. Interestingly enough, they hired the singer that lived in Copenhagen, which is much closer than Scotland. Just saying. He lasted 2 albums and he was booed.
You'd have lasted 3.
But, yeah, I would have been there for at least 3. But this album, though, is the album that totally got me into them. Yeah. I love it. I think his vocals are what makes, like, Pepe's guitar playing is fucking great, right? It's absolutely brilliant. But Jacob's vocals are what makes that band, and they've had some great albums since, but it's Jacob's. When Jacob went off and formed The Candidate with a K, That's the best bit of the candidate is the vocals.
Yeah.
Because he has the kind of Slayer scream, you know, that "Howl!" kind of like that. But he also has this kind of ooh kind of tone that he hits. And then he has my favourite lyric, like, of this year and maybe subsequent years, which are, "How can I walk without my feet?" How can I walk without my feet? And he's like, oh man, it's like, how can you walk without your feet? You can't.
This actually
You
makes
tell
a ton
them,
of
Jacob.
sense, yeah.
You tell them, Jacob, they can't walk without feet.
No, they can't.
That's impossible, Jacob. You tell them. Fucking love that album, man. Hate Sphere. Oh,
Great
we'll listen to that as soon as we finish. Oh man.
I mean, the two albums that followed that were fucking amazing as well. Like,
Oh yeah, so they go. Is
Valley
it
of the
Sickness
Brute
Within?
and Sickness Within, yep, and Valley of the Brute.
Ballad of the Brute, yeah. And they wrote those albums to put things into perspective. They've got Blood Red Hatred's 2002, Ballad of the Brute's 2004, Sickness Within is 2005. Like back to back. Pepe's a fucking machine, man. And then Serpent Smiles and
Good album as well.
Killer Eyes is the one that I auditioned on. So I auditioned on that. And oh, so good, man. So good. Oh, dude, I love that. Totally not as heavy as that at all. And one that I really like, and I know Dave couldn't give a fuck about this band. CKY, Infiltrate, Destroy and Rebuild. I really like CKY, and it upsets me that you don't.
I never got into them. They had one song that was on repeat forever, and I was like, I'm just sick of it. I never got into them.
What I like about CKY is I like the grooves the guitars do. Like it's weird to describe. It's almost like they've got a bass guitar playing a guitar and potentially even a synth playing the parts as well, because there's just a thickness of that I really like. Vocally, it's take it or leave it, but I enjoy that. Cog. No one mentioned Cog. Everyone's looking at me as if I spoke Spanish here.
Yeah.
Cog.
Never heard of it. Not once.
Don't know if I've heard that either.
You'd love Cog. Cog,
Alright.
basically, Cog, they're Australian,
Right.
and they're like the proto Carnival.
Huh.
They sound like Carnival before Carnival.
But they're called Cog.
Cog, C-O-G. They released 2 EPs this year, which was then re-released as an album called
Oh,
Just
they're doing the
Visiting.
fucking distant thing.
This is before Distant were a thing. So, yeah, the Just Visiting by Cog. I think you'd really like it, man.
I'll check them out,
It's basically like it's like Themata, but like a decade before. So it's like weird to describe. Really, 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 really good. They're like one that I highly recommend. Gonna be, there's more here. Atreyu, Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses. Duncan smells like that
Because he
because
knows.
mascara, man.
As album
Yes,
titles go, that one could have done with some work, no?
What's going on?
What is happening?
My watch has picked up me saying the word Atreyu and it started playing it. That's fucking amazing. I thought that was a train.
Just come into your house.
I was like, because I've got like there's a train chat right at the back.
All right.
What else?
No algorithm will pick up that one, Raven. Don't worry about it. It's played it from a watch, which is the world's shittiest speaker, except for that one inside of an Allegro. What's it called?
Talking about new metal, Dave. We didn't mention Papa Roach with Love Hate Tragedy, all one word.
Oh, I think it's got like one decent song.
Is that Getting Away with Murder?
No.
No.
Is that not that?
No, I
album?
liked She Loves Me Not. I think it was the track I liked.
Oh no, Dave.
Yeah.
She loves me now. She
Catchy.
loves me.
They
No, it's
tweeted
not.
the other day that they got a new album coming out, or they're working on. And it had like 4 likes.
September. Nah, I
It
don't
had
know
like
if it is.
4 likes, right? Like the whole world just went fuck off.
Yeah.
No one cares.
What about standing in line to see the show tonight, and there's a light on. And Vero. By the way, I try to say I love you. Remember when Red Hot Chili Peppers released Californication and everyone liked them?
Yeah.
And then they released By the Way, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
No.
I listened to Californication on fucking loop.
Yeah.
Loved that album. By the Way can get to fuck. It's just before he started saying California in every lyric.
Yeah.
It was like, something California. And you're like, alright.
You live in Ohio, right?
What about I've got loads in here. Obviously, Pulse Ultra released their album this year.
Oh yeah.
Pulse Ultra, I mentioned them on our underrated albums. Pulse Ultra the reason they got signed, they were Canadian, was the Taproot guitarist got them signed and he produced their album. And I really, really like it. I still think it's really cool. It's not quite new. It's new metal, but it's kind of alternative as well. They're really good. Pit Shifter released PSI.
That's on high up on my list, but
Yeah,
I listen to that
it's good,
all the
man.
time. Fucking, I didn't enjoy it as much as Deviant, but it's very good.
Oh, you know what? I actually did listen to after it was mentioned. I listened to that Concrete album, the Fear Factory one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
It's not good.
It really is not.
There's a reason that album got buried for a decade, Dave.
It sounds like someone recorded it in a rehearsal room with one microphone.
That's
what
Ross
it sounds like.
Robinson.
I know.
That's Ross Robinson.
What is up with that drum sound, Ross? Fuck me. There are
Almost
fucking-
as if there's not a real drummer playing in that band.
No, there are 0 sample drums on that album. Fucking hell, it's horrendous. Ross Robinson, what were you doing? What was the other one? Remember Blindside?
I've got Blindside in here, Dave.
Yep. Silence, good album. It's got some good bangers on it, that one. December, the Lament Configuration.
Also have December in it. Do you know what the Lament Configuration is, Dave?
What is the Lament Configuration, Duncan?
How dare I will show you right now what the Lament Configuration is. If I don't destroy my house first. That is the Lament Configuration.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, I thought it was the first time he got spat in the eye by a llama.
There's also that as well. Everything's falling apart in my house now. Oh fuck.
That was the rock bottom foundation of this living room, wasn't it?
It's my Hannibal Heart. I've got a lot of shit in my house. Like a lot of shit in my house. So that's a good one, Dave.
We get Nile in their Darkened Shrines.
Forgot
Yes.
about that one. Damn it.
It's a good album. I don't think it's as good as Catacombs, or what was the other one? The one that came after that. Oh, I forgot the name of it. But it's a decent album. It's a decent album.
I'm surprised they can keep up their gimmick after so long. It's like,
I know.
How much
I know.
fucking Egyptian history is there? Apparently,
Loads.
an entire band's catalogue worth.
Yep. I always remember he's the dude with the guitar that it's been jumping to a spike at the end, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think so.
that's a Ran guitar, isn't it? From Poland.
Yes. Poland, Kyle. I don't fucking know. Maybe.
Oh. A couple of the death metal ones. Hate Eternal, King of All Kings.
I
Good
have
album.
that in here. Hate Eternal, Duncan wrote. Where is it?
You know, for some reason, I just can't get into them.
No.
No, I don't know what it is.
Duncan wrote King of All Kings. Beside that, Relentless.
It is. Yeah.
that's
There's
why.
no let up.
No, not at all. I think that the title track, King of All Kings, is a fucking great track. It's not their best in my opinion. I think there's parts of the album that are a little bit flat. I actually had better memories of that when I re-listened to it. I was like, thought that was better than it actually was, but I don't think it's aged particularly well. Another one that I really liked was Despised Icon.
Yeah,
Consumed by
got that in
Poison.
here as well, which I thought might appear in your list.
No, the one they did after the Ills of Modern Man was way better. This was
Duncan.
good, but
Duncan's notes, honestly, still kind of mind blown. I went back and listened. There's stuff that's happening on that. It's just all over the place. Kind of the same way that I've wrote Cataclysm, who released Shadows and Dust. Duncan's one note was punishing, because it fucking is.
Yeah.
Where's my other one? Because I marked all these ones. I was like, Dave will mention these maybe. Origin, who released Informus, Infintus, Inhumanus, which I just wrote Intense.
Origin.
Which is what should have been at the end.
I know they're on bases. Well, knew him, but he's kind of a dick. So
that album still is like,
yeah.
That's one of those ones where I listened to the bass drum sound and I was like, had that been submitted this year for a review on Metal Epidemic, one of the reviewers would be going hardcore on how shit it sounds. I'm not saying it's me. Not me. What else do we have? What do we have?
Oh yeah, Kieran was mentioning that one by Annihilator earlier. I haven't heard it, that one, but like, yeah, I've always heard it's not the best album.
Ram says, Waking the Fury by Annihilator, which was quite shit, but had one good song in it. Oh man, there's so much. I've got written here Cephalic Carnage with Lucid Interval. Duncan's description: raw as fuck death metal. Do not like the lower vocals. See the that's through most of that album is nigh on incomprehensible, but he does a lower higher range vocal, which is infinitely better, and she's done the whole album with that. So fuck that.
We've talked about Opeth
mentioned.
loads.
What you got, Dave?
Lisa was asking about Opeth. Yeah, we mentioned.
Mentioned Opeth. Which
it's not my favourite Opeth album.
No.
It has its moments, but I prefer some of the stuff done after that, actually.
I found the gin in the fridge, so I decided to drink it. Holy fuck!
Here we go.
It's a raid.
Let's do the Duncan list, Dave. You can mark off whatever you want from this, right? This is the super list. So there is things on here that have been discussed, but this was Duncan's original list, of which I managed 90 listens, right? So here we go. Strap yourselves in.
1 second, we're going to do the tunnel because I just got a raid from Petra, who's awesome.
Let's do the tunnel.
Let's do the tunnel. Thank you, Petra, for the raid. She's a member of my stream team, Evil TV, so check her out, please. She's fantastic, from Brazil and really damn funny. Let's do it. Get the tunnel.
Back.
Oh yeah, that was the raid. Thank you, Petra, for the raid. That's amazing. How we do? What are you doing? Dark Souls, right? That's what you were playing. For some reason, because you're just into self-punishment. I played.
Is Dark Souls a bad game?
I mean, I played it and I fucking hate it. It's so hard, man. Like I think I got past. Where's Dave? Dave, I don't know. He just said I'll be right back.
Dave has.
We left him in the tunnel.
If anyone's seen Twin Peaks Season 3, Dave has become the arm which has evolved to the tree. But it's a very Lynchian thing. But yeah, he's now a tree now. There he's there. He's back.
Yeah, there he is. Stockholm Syndrome. That is what that game is known for. Oh
Candavia is back in the house.
Candavia.
Right, we're going to do the list, right?
The entire list.
Oh, we're gonna rattle through this like a motherfucker. I promise people we'll do it at the end. some of these have been mentioned before. If there's something I have not mentioned, well, something that hasn't been mentioned that we want to mention, just say fucking stop.
Yep.
Put the brakes on this motherfucker. So let's start at the top. 3 inches of blood. Battle cry under a winter sun.
Ah.
Anyone got comments?
Well, yeah.
Duncan's wrote old school and production not great.
Lisa's like, stop.
It's Crazy Fist, bitterness in the star. Duncan marked as banger. The Acacia strain. A life is very long. How different did they sound here? Question mark. Agalock, the mantle. First time listen. Topped a few lists for the year. Too long. Duncan's thoughts. All that remains. Behind Silence and Solitude, Duncan's comments, banger. I'm on a Marth versus the World, Duncan's comments, prefer the older shit. Atreyu, Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses. Sad to say I like this. Audio Slave, banger. I like the banger.
You should have just gone Audio Slave.
I should have just done that. Avantasia, the Metal Opera Part 2. What the fuck is this shit? Battery with Nordland I or 1. Duncan has written not very good. Behemoth Zot Kai Cultist Here and Beyond. Duncan wrote raw. Beseech Soul Highway, cool songs and a nice female vocal. Very typo negative. I actually really like that. Between the Buried and Me, Duncan wrote beside it, raw banger. Which is my nickname for myself when I'm having sex. Raw banger. Black Label Society, 1990 Eternal. Duncan's wrote, really enjoyed this. First time listen. Blind Guardian and Night of the Opera, not for me at all.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one.
Oh, God. Bloodbath. Resurrection through Carnage. Duncan's written surprising.
Yeah.
Even did the.
Did you draw an eyebrow?
I wish I could. Bolt Thrower, Honor, Valor, Pride. Duncan's written interesting. Bon Jovi. I don't know why I even listened to this. It's on the list. With their album Bounce. Duncan's written don't. Botch, an anthology of dead ends. Duncan's written interesting, which I think is that way where you just don't know what you write. So you write it. Breaking Benjamin with Saturate. Duncan's wrote this is saturated. Cathedral, the Filth Coming. Duncan's written riff for days, stoner style. The riffs in this are amazing. The vocals are shit. Cephalic Carnage, Elusive Interval. Duncan's written raw as fuck death metal, do not like the lower vocals. Cannibal Corpse, Gore Obsessed. Why have I never listened to this before? Chevelle, Wonder What's Next. Duncan's written not another album. CKY, Infiltrate, Destroy, Rebuild. Love it. Cog, Just Visiting. Love this stuff. Like a precursor to Carnival. Okay. Crazy Town, Dark Horse. Duncan's written nope. Danzig, 777. Duncan's written nope. Dark Tranquility, Damage Done. None of us mentioned that.
No.
I wrote really enjoyable. They're another melodic death metal band, aren't they?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. They were kind of lumped in with In Flames and Soil Work at one point.
Aye.
Yeah, Petra, we're doing best metal albums of 2002, and we've had quite a few lists.
Yep. Duncan's now on Decapitated, Nihility. Really inventive, but not sure about that bass drum trigger.
Shut your hole.
Don't like it. Demon Hunter with their self-titled album Demon Hunter, not as polished as their follow-up. Despised Icon, Consumed by Your Poison. Honestly, still kind of mind-blown. Wait for it, you'll get a laugh at this. Def Leppard with their 10th studio album X. I went deep, dude. I went deep. Right? Poison the Well wasn't on my list. I regret that.
Yeah, you should.
Def Leppard.
Wasn't on my
Duncan's
list.
written. The description is practically a Bryan Adams album. It is so fucking poppy. Has anyone listened to X by Def Leppard?
I have. My mum bought it the day it came out because she used to be a massive Def Leppard fan, and she let me listen to it, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
It is so poppy. It is unbelievable.
Have they
I couldn't
all lost
believe
an
it.
arm? Like,
They all lost an arm. You're a bad man. You're a bad man. Dillinger Escape Plan. Irony is a dead scene. EP. So good. Can't count this because it's an EP.
yeah.
So I put that in there so I know. Dio killing the dragon. I'm surprised you didn't mention that, buddy.
It's on my list, actually. I didn't get around to mentioning it, but yeah, it's on my list and fucking love that album. Fucking love Dio, so.
Disturbed. Believe Duncan's notes. This is where the trouble starts. Down to A Bustle in Your Hedgerow. So fucking good. Dream Evil Dragon Slayer. Do not like. Dream Theater. 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. Why do I not like this band? Electric Wizard, Let Us Pray. Heavy fucking fuzz. That's what I've written there. See the guitar on that is that thing. Put it down there. Fear Factory, Concrete. Duncan's written beside it. Finch, What Is to Burn. Heavy love for this. Firewind, Between Heaven and Hell. Duncan's words. Nope. 5.0 Untitled. Didn't live up to the hype.
He is
Freak
doing all
Kitchen,
90. You should get more
Freak
gin.
Kitchen, Move, makes me want to dance, y'all. This dude, honestly. Flash Jaw, Worship and Tribute, love this. Hammerfall, Crimson Thunder. Nope.
I used to know a dude in college who was fucking so into Hammerfall. He was a bass player, and like,
Did he
I didn't
play
get it.
like Dungeons and Dragons? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
he must
literally
have
what
done.
I got from.
Like, I did not get it. I listened to him, I was like, you're gonna base your entire existence on this band? All right.
Shite is what I wanted to
Right.
write. Where are we? Hardline with album number 2. It's okay.
Never heard of him.
Hatebreed, Perseverance, fucking great. Hate Eternal, King of All Kings, relentless. Heaven Shall Burn, Whatever It May Take, fucking huge. Like my penis. High on Fire, Surrounded by Thieves, a less polished Orange Goblin. So if you like Orange Goblin, High on Fire, Surrounded by Thieves. Bit of that. Immolation, Unholy Cult. Nope.
Nope.
Immortal, Sons of the Northern Darkness, still holds up. In Flames, Root to Remain, still my favourite In Flames. Iron Saviour, Condition Red, Duncan's words. Nope. Isis with Oceanic, still incredible. Cataclysm, Shadows of Dust. Punishing, Killswitch Engage, Alive and Just Breathing. Cool songs, but prefer Howard's release. Right. King Diamond, Abigail the Second, The Revenge. Davey hates this, but I like it. Korn, Untouchables, still really love this album, so I'm kind of with you on this one. Crux, with their album, Crux, which I've written as a big, dirty, sludgy, slutty bastard. It really is Crux, Krux. Check it out. Kylisa with Kylisa, pretty good. Lacuna Coil, Coma Eyes, I like it. Lordy, Get Heavy, a ton of fucking fun. It's so good. It's so good. Stop mocking me in the chat. I can't do two things at once.
We're not mocking you.
Luca,
We're here with you, just slightly behind.
Luca Torelli, Prophet of the Last Eclipse. Nope. Manowar, Warriors of the World. Nope. Mastodon Remission, March of the Fire Ants gives me a chub. Megadeth, Rude Awakening Live. This is a live album. Why am I listening to this? Megadeth, Still Alive and Well compilation. Why am I listening to this? Nope. Mercenary, Ever Black. Nope. Meshuggah Nothing. I suspect this will be Dave's number 1, and it wasn't, so I'm sorry. Motorhead, Hammered, pretty cool. Mudvayne, The End of All Things to Come, love the songs, but not so much the production. Nightwish, Century Child, I don't like this band.
Nope.
Norma Jean, Bless the Martyr and Kiss the Child, I love this, it never gets respect. Opeth Deliverance, forgot how they used to sound actually. Orange Goblin, Coup de Grace, so good, like Early Clutch. Origin, with the name of the album that's huge, I said it intense. OTEP. No one mentioned OTEP.
Well, why the fuck would we?
Was that an EP? No,
No, Service Tra.
that's the EP.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the only good release they had.
Oh, really?
I thought it was the album, so I listened to the wrong thing. I've wrote here not as good as the EP, which it clearly was. Pagan Mind, Celestial Entrance. Why am I listening to this? Pain, Nothing Remains the Same. Cool. Papa Roach, Love Hate Tragedy. Oft.
Is that a good oft or a bad one?
It's a bad oft. She loves me not. Life's not fair.
Bangers.
What?
Pitch Shifter. PSI. I've wrote semi.
Yes, I knew we'd get one.
Porcupine Tree in absentia. Fucking love it. Our Quest, Wings Forever. Don't like it. Primal Fear, Black Sun. Pretty good. Propane Dave.
Is that the name of the band, Propane Dave?
It should be, because Dave's a big fan. Shreds of Dignity. I've wrote, Davey might like this. ... Protest the Hero, A Calculated Use of Sound, pretty killer. Pulse Ultra Headspace, underrated. Queen Adrena, Drink Me, I Should Like This Band But Don't. Queens of the Stone Age, Songs of the Deaf, so fucking good. Raunchy, Velvet Noise, love it. Raging Speenhorn, We Will Be Dead Tomorrow, not as good as the previous album.
No.
The Red Chord, Fused Together in Revolving Doors, heavy as fuck. Red Harvest, Sicky, Transit, Gloria Mundi, so good. Red Hot Chili Peppers, By the Way, nope. Rhapsody, Power of the Dragon Flame, I don't like this stuff. Rotten Christ, Genesis, I don't like this stuff. Sacrificium, Cold Black Piece of Flesh, can't find this album, so that's one I didn't listen to. Satyricon, Volcano, surprisingly like this. This is another one of these black metal albums that I'm like, maybe I like black metal.
You know, there's some Satyricon songs and some Emperor songs. I'm like, actually, yeah, not bad, but I don't know what it is. The rest of it, I'm just like, nope.
Saxon, Heavy Metal Thunder. I've written cool name for an album. Songs are gash. Sentence, The Cold White Light. I've wrote okay. Seven Witches, Exile to Infinity and One. Nope. Shadow Falls, The Art of the Balance. Banger. Synergy, Suicide by My Side. I've written okay. Skindred, Babylon. Big up Selector. Select I don't even know how to pronounce that. Couldn't find it anyway. The War That Plagues the Lands. Soilwork, Natural Born Chaos. Not their best, but ...
To be continued.
Check out next month.
Sonata Arctica.
Arctica.
Yeah. Songs of Silence, Live in Tokyo. I've written, this is a live album. Why am I listening to this? Soulfly 3, some really cool moments. No primitive, man.
No.
It's not primitive. Spectre Dragon, Under Hell's Command. Not very good. Star One, Space Metal. Not very good. Stone Sour by Stone Sour. Average. Sugar Coma, Becoming Something Else. Do not like the heavy vocals.
I remember
She's got a really nice singy vocal.
Oh yeah, Sugar Coma.
See her like. Truth is a less. This is an angry voice. I fucking sing like this. Not very good. She's
trying to sell me a meat pie in a dark alley.
She's almost like Kyle when Kyle gets angry. But not quite. Symphony X, The Odyssey, not good. System of a Down, steal this album. ... Fuck this album. Theory of a Dead Man with your self-titled Theory of a Dead Man. I've written better than Nickelback.
It's
They're a
funny
poor man's
because it's
Nickelback.
true.
Poor man's Nickelback.
Me? This guy? Threshold, Critical Mass. Nope. Trapped. With their self-titled album Trapped, and I've written shite. Tier, How Far to Asgard. Love the theme, don't love the music. And this is the last one I could find. Under Oath, The Changing of Times, and I've written banger. I love that album. Really like that album. Vader, Revelations, couldn't find in time. Vanden Plas, Beyond Daylight, I couldn't get any of these. Visions of Atlantis, Warcry, who had 2 releases, Winds, and Whispering Gallery, and that's the list.
Nice.
Oof, Dave. See, the next time we get a year, let's pick a year that's like in the 1991 or something, where there's half the albums. A lot of albums. Anything that I didn't mention that someone else has to mention?
Just, I think I had 2 that maybe weren't on your list.
Dave has 2.
Third Strike and Lost Angel. It's a bit of an underrated new metal album. And finally, obviously, because it has been mentioned on everything we do, Piss and Razors, Where We Come From.
Piss and Razors got an album out now.
Yeah, Where We Come From.
The Piss and Razors pay you to mention them every record.
Pretty much.
We've got
What one's Where We Come
It's
From?
the one they did with the guy. Was it Bragg? Jason Bragg or something like that. His name was. He went on to do stuff with Rex.
Yeah, it's like burning the bridges down, burn them down to the ground. I love that.
Yep.
That song, man, is like mahogany material, Dave. You know what I mean? That's a stoner and a half.
Yep, that was the only one I had.
Lisa, you love Piss and Razors. You can say the words you love it. Dave loves Piss and Razors. You've no idea. I've been listening to this now. How long have we been friends? 99.
Yeah.
Well, we talked to each other in 99. We weren't friends in 99. You were too cool for school. 2000. Let's say 2000. 21 years. This is literally all I've had to listen to for 21 years is Dave telling me how much he loves Piss and Razors.
Yep.
Like, Dave, you want to go out for dinner next week? We can have a catch up and a coffee. Piss and Razors.
Yep.
I'm like, are you okay? You can get an antibiotic for that.
Is that why you're not coming to get coffee?
Piss and Ravers. Piss and Razors, Duncan.
Piss and
Piss and
Ravers.
Ravers. Ravers. Yep. Icky legs. Icky legs.
Icky legs.
Ebenezer good.
Yeah. That's
There you go.
pretty much my list.
Kyle, do you have anything we haven't mentioned? Nah.
It's all there. It's all there. You even had Vader, even though you didn't listen to it. You have to go back and listen to it. It's fucking great.
I will listen to it. I'll go back.
Yeah,
Dude,
Tell me what you think of it.
I listened to them alphabetically, right? And that was maybe my issue to begin with.
Yeah. Good job.
I did get through 90 though. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
From my point of view, that's surprising because I don't do shit like that. Dave will tell you.
Yeah, I'm
These
not
are
a fan of power metal either. Halloween have a couple of good songs, but I'm like, I just don't. It's just happy and it doesn't work for me. Yeah.
It's usually the vocals that put me. I don't
Yeah.
like all that kind of Bruce Dickinson fucking kind of vibrato stuff. Not at all.
Which is weird because like the drummer in my band, he fucking loves it. If he was listening to you, he'd be like, "What the fuck? You can fuck right off, Duncan." Except in Norwegian, but but yeah, he loves it. I went to see Halloween with him, and we had a great time. But I mean, I don't listen to it ever. So
It doesn't. I like it. I just think there's a formula there, and that formula
Frozen
gets
again.
really tiring really quick.
Yeah, it
I'll
works like
frozen
a
again. I'll
song.
be right back.
Yeah. Oh, he's gone. He's ruined it all. Oh my god, ruined the whole thing.
Duncan.
Give me more than a second's warning next time, you lovely person, you, if you're still listening. Oh man, this has been fun as hell.
Yeah.
I liked
has.
it. It was good, like going through it as well, going through all the albums I listened to in 2002. I thought I didn't have as many on my list as Duncan did, but
No.
we almost saw eye to eye on a lot of stuff. I'm surprised that neither of you liked that System of a Down album, but yeah, to each their own, right? So yeah. So what are we gonna do next week? Next month?
Oh, I don't know.
Don't know either.
We need some recommendations, I think.
Some ideas from people in the chat.
Yeah.
Surprise us. That's not a good recommendation. No, it ain't.
Brave to the great.
We could do another band
Oh, what, like a poll?
discography.
A band
God.
discography.
Maybe put Stained back in there.
Oh, fuck off.
Has been a while since we chatted about them.
Not long enough.
Oh no, if I have to go through that
as
again,
much
I
as I
actually
want
might.
to do another year, I think we should give ourselves a bit of time before we do another year.
Yeah.
It's so intensive, man,
It
honestly.
is, yeah.
But we'll definitely do another one, like in a couple of Twitches, I think.
Yeah.
What about... What about... Don't laugh at me. I've not even said it yet.
I can't even begin to imagine what you're going to come up with. So, like,
How dare you?
I'm excited. It's a release of nervous energy.
How about we pick a subgenre, right? And we each pick 5 albums that we would recommend to someone to get into that subgenre.
As long as
But
it's not power metal.
The caveat is each of us get a different subgenre.
Ah, all right.
Who's picking the subgenre?
The chat.
No,
Oh,
because
okay.
what will happen is we'll all end up with subgenres we don't like.
Yeah.
We should lean towards our strengths.
I really hate new metal, by the way.
So, how about that? How about something like that?
That sounds good.
Could
Yeah,
do.
we can decide on some
We
genres.
each pick a subgenre
Yeah.
and then we each pick 5 albums. Clan metal. Oh,
That's easy.
man.
Pantera. Come on.
Least favourite albums of a subgenre.
Least favorite alpha. Go on forever.
Metalcore, new metal, and death metal. I mean, we could, between the 3 of us, we could cover that.
Yeah, we could.
Metalcore to piss everyone off. So Dave's getting new metal, Kyle's getting metalcore, and I'm getting death metal because those are not our chosen subjects.
Oh, that'll help.
Something like that. Something like that. I mean, I love the idea of least favorite albums of a subgenre, but what it means is we'll all have to listen to bad albums.
Yeah, I don't want to do that again for a long time.
We did Stained, and that was torture, man. That was a month to just.
You said Stained, and I got a bit dizzy.
Well, Dave's last FM thing is telling him that he should be only listening to Stained for the rest of the year. So,
Ruined.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Best albums of a subgenre from a specific country.
oh,
That's not bad.
Best album of a subgenre from a specific country.
So it'd be like melodic death metal from Sweden.
Should do Russian roulette with the countries.
Yeah. Impatient nerd girl is screaming your name, Duncan.
Best
What have I done?
grindcore from
Damn.
Wales.
what have I done with Patient Nerd Girl that I'm getting screamed at? Well, those are a lot
Japanese death
of-
metal. No,
Ooh.
we tried to listen to that and we all fucking hated it. And
Deathcore,
everybody that watched the
man.
video was like,
What's their name?
do this
Deathlock,
band, do
Death-
this album, do this one. And we're
Dexcore.
like,
Dexco.
yeah,
Dexcore. Let's do
Jesus.
some deathcore. Like, I would happily listen. If you want to give me J metal, I will give you 5 albums from Japan.
There's a mosquito
that I
in
think
here, I
are
just found out. Sorry.
mandatory listening for J metal. I will do that for you. That is not a push for me. So, at all.
At least it ain't baby metal. I'll listen to baby metal.
I like baby. Fuck off with you. Like, you two are snobby as fuck. You're literally the reason that the industry is done. I don't like baby metal.
I literally just said the words, I listen to baby metal.
Yes, but I have another recording where you're like that. The music's really good, but the vocals are shit.
I didn't say the vocals are shit. I said the vocals turn
You
me
said,
off.
you said the vocals are like sandpaper on my cock.
Yeah, that's about right.
What we're thinking? Come on, let's get something in place. The next episode, by the way, is going to be called "She's a Twitch, but I love her anyway."
I'm a Twitch. I'm a lover.
Oh, impatient there, girl.
Of all three of us, he's the favourite. Well, you know, I can see that. Yeah.
Come on,
Animal-themed
look at me.
bands. I pick animals as leaders.
Animal-themed bands. Ooh. Animal-themed.
Not an animal, but I would choose Psycore because they have that song Zoo. I want to go to the zoo. Remember the snare drum, Dave? Oh,
Oh. Yeah.
it's like Lars Ulrich's snare drum from Saint Anger, but better.
Somehow
You
it's
know
better than the Saint Angus now.
Oh, have you never listened to that album?
No.
Oh, dude.
Send it
we need
over.
to fix-
I'll give it a...
we need
I
to
wrestled a
fix that.
bear once. That is a
I
band.
like I wrestled a bear once.
Yeah.
So
There's even that band
Yeah.
I did a review for Rock and Reel. It's called Bear or something. Just Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good album.
Good band, yeah.
Yeah.
the Bunny the Bear.
Fuck no.
Isn't there one coming out or just come out called Beartooth? Which I
That's
thought,
Beartooth, yeah.
which
Beartooth,
I thought, I saw that album cover and I swear to God, I thought they were called Beantooth. I thought that R was an
Beantooth
N.
sounds even
Oh,
better.
no.
It's like, I've lost my tooth. I need to replace it. I'm going to use this Heinz baked bean. They'll never be able to tell the difference.
I literally, it's like the third time in my entire life I've done an actual double take. Like, what? Is that Beantooth? No, Beartooth. All right, that makes more sense.
Oh man. Well, let's single in and let's get something sorted. Otherwise, we're just going to go around in circles.
I like this idea
know.
of 5 albums from a subgenre to get people into it. But we've got to decide who gets what.
Right. So what? Well, let's lean into what our favourite subgenres are because that's easy to do.
At least your favourite subgenre.
Me? I don't have a. I'm terrible at this. I was going to pick up the last of what you guys put in.
All right, well, I'll go with like death metal or new metal, something like that. Industrial metal as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, Dave, who you kind of leaning towards?
Is it metalcore, death metal again, deathcore,
Groove metal. Come on,
groove
Dave.
metal? Yeah.
Probably.
You know you want to. Right, so Davey's going groove metal. Groove's in the heart now. Dave's in the old groove metal. Kyle?
You know, I'll go with industrial metal. Because I
Kyle's
talk a
gone
lot about
industrial
death
metal.
metal and new metal, so I don't talk enough
like
about
it.
industrial. So
You know what's coming at me. You know what's coming at me. Do you know where you are? Welcome to the jungle, punk. All Limp Bizkit all the time. Top 5 Limp Bizkit albums. I can put Significant Other in 3 times. That's fine. Now I'll do new metal.
sounds good.
I'll do top 5 new metal albums to get. And remember, it's not best of show.
It's
this is
how
top
to get
5
how to get somebody
to get
into,
them
which
into
means
the genre.
I cannot put in Throbbing Gristle because that is really hard to listen to.
Also, that sounds like a description of my penis after I've abused it.
Man, it was almost a minute.
After it's been chewed on for a while. Yeah, right. So that's our
Penis
next one.
klaxon.
That's,
Cool.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I want to say a very special thank you to Lisa. Thank you very much for the penis klaxon right just then.
you've been sitting on that all night.
Yeah, man.
You just deploy the. I would have been doing that whenever I announced the bands that I liked, like the albums.
System of a Down.
Steal this album. That's right. This is God saying, "Steal this album."
Disturbed our shit.
Oh man.
Oh, I don't know.
Right, so that's us sorted. We've got this.
All right,
Cool.
let's do that.
Let's do that.
good. So that's a month. I got 4 weeks to figure out how to get people into industrial metal. I'm gonna try this on my wife, and I'm gonna get punched in the face.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Find a guinea pig, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not her. She will punch me in the face. But what are fucking listening to this for? I'm angry now. And she'll be driving, and it'll be a wreck. So yeah, maybe not her. I need another. Oh, I could do it on Chris. Oh, I'm gonna do it on Chris, the singer in my band. I'm gonna do it on him. He has no fucking idea what's in for him. He's like kind of familiar with Nine Inch Nails. That's it. I'm like, yeah, you got no idea what's in for you, mate. Right, cool, great, thanks. Duncan's gone again and ruining the entire. He's just. You gotta give me some warning. There he is.
He's back.
He's back. Look busy.
I'm back.
Yeah, so that'll be last Wednesday of the month.
July.
Which will be when exactly? I don't know.
27th.
Oh shit! Right, 2 seconds. I'll find a video. We will be doing it on July the 28th.
July 28th. There we go.
Yep. The next podcast that's dropping will be shortly as well, and we'll be doing our top 10.
Top 10.
Top 10 albums of the year so far.
Yep.
Yeah.
FYI, Boss Colloid is pretty high on that list.
Yeah. Oh my god. If it's not, it is up there. Album. I mean, of all the albums we've had this year, that one I think has had the most replays by me.
It's really good.
Really high up there.
It's really, really good.
Industrial is just. I don't even think Rammstein's gonna encroach on the top 5.
You kind of have to give a wee bit of love to Rammstein, surely.
I don't know. There's way better industrial out there than Rammstein. I'm not saying Rammstein are bad.
It's to get people,
in there.
into the industrial music. So you
Rammstein
don't give them
would do that.
all that shit. You get them.
All
You get them. You
I gotta
hook them
change
in.
my how to hook people in with a German singing fucking nutbag. Because Till Lindemann is crazy.
He's so
he
good.
is actually a crazy person.
Probably, but
Yeah.
he's German.
Gin.
I mean, all the Germans are kind of a wee bit out there. I mean,
Fair.
Dave, what's coming up on the review front for us soon? It's a kind of death metal-y album that we were all over the place with, you know. That we're not allowed to talk about. Lisa's in the chat, so we're not really allowed to mention the controversial views that were expressed on that review.
You're fishing.
Who? Me?
Oh, that's yes.
What?
Something to do with the brain.
Yes. Cognitive. Review coming soon.
Cognitive, or as I like to call them, cognitive, or as I like to say, let me sleep. So,
Yeah, that'll be coming soon. We've got reviews from what was the other ones? Motherload, Scattered Storm, Tombstoner.
Tombstoner, which is the best name for a band ever, and the whole world of rock and stoner metal should be ashamed that you didn't come up with that name.
Yeah, they really should.
You've had about 30 years to come up with that, and Tombstoner won.
After I was lamenting a few months ago that metal bands are really scraping the bottom of the barrel for names, and then along comes Tombstoner and proves me all of the fucking wrong.
Such a great name. Such
Yeah.
a great name.
Yep. Yep, so that one will be coming soon as well. And then there's all the usual reviews on the site as well. Raven's got one coming up. Who else has got album reviews coming out? There's going to be a few more coming in the next week or so.
Man,
we
I'm
just
glad
got
I
our-
don't write reviews anymore and I just actually yell about how much I hate albums. It's great.
Mountain Caller. Yes, we did get that in for review. I haven't reviewed it yet.
Is that an us review, or is that a?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Should it be an us review, Dave?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll need to give it. I'll need to give it a wee listen. I'm not entirely sure yet. I think they're instrumental. I don't know if they've got any vocals. I think the track I heard was completely instrumental.
For those out there, Dave is the conduit to which we review albums. So Dave's the screening process.
And you still
So he's literally the man from Del Monte of music. He's like that. Everyone looks up and he's like, the man from Dave Monte says, "Oh no, we're not reviewing this album." Literally what it's like. So, the man from Dave Monte.
We've got podcast recording next, and then we'll be back on the album reviews. So, we'll check out what's next on the list and start putting together some reviews.
Nice.
Yeah.
So much stuff to do. So little time.
So
Instead of thought of doing a 10 list last year, I did it easily.
piece of
But the thought of doing a 10 list already at this point is just fucking heartbreaking.
It's hard, man. It's
fucking.
I mean, it's
hard.
difficult right now.
I've got my 10. I've not ordered them, but I've got my 10.
You've got your.
All right, Dave. Oh, look at me. I'm a fucking smart cunt.
That's right.
Thanks for showing up, folks. We love you.
We do.
Yeah. Thanks very
Great.
much.
Thanks, everyone. It's been
Appreciated.
a long night of metal, which is the best kind of night to have.
I don't know if Rab's still here, but Rab, you're a lush. You know it, you're a sexy fuck. Just saying, Lisa is a lucky woman.
No, Seamus, it's been a pleasure.
If things don't work out there, call me.
See, Lisa's got 10. Lisa's got 10. She's
How have
on
you
the
got 10? How it's impossible this year. Last year was hard.
Well, Lisa, I trust you to pass that message on to your husband when you see him.
I'm Machine Citizen.
I have.
It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
That's
I'm
so
glad
much
you're-
more than
glad you're
10.
back. I don't know if you've been back for a long time and I've been offline, but I'm back. I met him in like 2000. What was it? 17? Yeah, 2017 in Long Beach in California, and then he went away.
I thought you
And now
meant
came
that's
back.
how far your albums are going back to the list.
Yeah.
I'm going back to 2017, guys.
Yeah. For my list of top 10 albums of this year so far. Jesus. Nah. Oh, it's been cool.
Some of these bands might surprise you.
Yeah. Some of them
so-
don't exist anymore. No. So we'll be
Yeah,
recording
it'll
that next week, I guess, and it'll come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably end of next week.
Sweet. Awesome. So look out for that on the YouTube.
I need to hurry up then and get that sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, should do.
Everybody should go and follow me on Spotify because that's the thing that should be done now. There's been loads more
Yeah.
Spotify followers recently this month, actually. I don't know where they've come from because I've hardly been pushing it, but suddenly there's just hundreds more. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do that. I've got a single
Check
coming
them
out
out.
in the next few weeks. That'll be fun. It's got a lot of synth and a lot of
Oh,
9-string
you're selling
guitar
it to me.
and a lot of me screaming on it too.
Oh, I'm loving everything you're saying right now.
I'll be out soon. I need to find a PR person for that. And yeah.
I will be
Funnily
your PR person
Okay,
if you want.
Duncan, you're hired.
Granted
I will
that
give
no
you
one
this.
might return. It's
Yeah.
just gonna be like your music with just me helicopter my cock. And time with it. So that get a listen.
Yeah.
Promote it. Play it on your station.
I'll pay you with this candle.
Somebody pull out Duncan's batteries. Come on.
All right.
Literally not the worst thing I've said tonight, so that's alright.
No, it's not. Well, this has been fun. Let's do it again
Although
next
you
month.
need to pull the plug before worst things.
Yes, we do. We do.
Penis klaxon,
thank
there
you.
it is.
Thank you so much for checking out the stream again. Much appreciated. Had a laugh, had a good time. We'll be back in a
Penis
month.
klaxon.
Dong,
End of
dong,
July, we're
dong.
back with another Twitch stream. Keep your eyes peeled on the Discord server. I usually post all the updates about that in there, and obviously on all the socials and stuff. But we're back end of July with another Twitch stream talking about our top 5 albums from a subgenre that would get someone into that subgenre.
Yeah, so that's the
The snappy of
caveat.
it, yeah.
So like Dave, if you come in with groove metal and you pick the most obscure fucking groove metal shit, I'm gonna call you out on it.
Oh, really?
You know what we should do as well? We should share our list in advance of the show.
Oh, with each other, you mean?
Yeah.
No, out to the general public.
Yeah, that sounds like a better idea. Yeah, better idea.
That way we can comment on them.
All right.
And say, this is a terrible choice for an album, Dave. And also you can say, why is there so much Crazy Town on your list, Duncan?
The dong gong. I like it.
I'm going to get one for next time.
That is, the dong gong is literally how I summon my family to dinner.
I found my dong gong already.
Nice.
Do you have do you have a Prince Albert that you can whip that on at the end? Just so people know where you are in the house.
Oh,
that
I
way
tell
we
you
put
what.
like a bell around a cat's a cat's collar.
I'm doing that tomorrow.
Nice.
I don't know what I'm doing with Twitch streaming and Twitch at the moment. I've got to figure it out because my eyes have been fucked for the past couple of months. But they're getting better now thanks to the new glasses. So I will figure it out and let you know in Discord and Twitter and that shit. But yeah, check out the Metal Epidemic stuff. There's links to Discord on the YouTube videos. My bot is fucked tonight, so we've only got a link to the website. But go there and find a link to Discord and YouTube and all that. And check it all out.
Nice.
I keep saying to you, Kyle, one time on your Discord on a Friday night, let's watch a movie and let's talk about it, buddy.
Let's do it.
Me and you.
Event
We can talk about
Horizon.
movies.
We've been planning this for years.
Dude, I will talk Event Horizon to death.
Me
you
too.
know I will.
Let's do it.
You know.
We could do it on Twitch. They just released watch parties.
Let's do it.
Yep. All right, we're going to do that
You
Friday.
give me the date. I'll be there.
This
I will
Friday,
talk
8 o'clock your
all
time.
the way through the film.
If you
all
can.
the way through the film, because
Yeah,
I know
let's do
inside
it.
out.
Let's do it. It's not for partners. It's
whole
for
way
me
through.
too. I got it. I got it right there.
Yeah.
There's a button right here that I'm looking at. It says Start Watch Party.
Let's do it.
Because
Let's do it.
I'm
there.
special and I get all of the new features because I've been on Twitch for about 50 fucking years.
50 years. And Lisa says that Dave and Honourable do a stream about pissing razors.
Yeah, do it.
But the thing is, Lisa, like
watch that.
you're joking about that. I think Dave has a hidden Twitch channel which is just about pissing razors that no one knows about except him and pissing razors.
What time is that? East Coast. That's 2 p.m.
In fact, like Lisa might not know actually. What was the name of the spin-off thing they did recently?
No, wait, sorry, 3 p.m.
Pissing razors. Big Eddie Garcia. They've got a side.
Oh, right, yeah. Scattered Storm.
Oh,
Scatter
yeah.
Slong, Lisa.
It's
Got guys from Pissing Racers.
the drummer of Piston Razors is playing bass, and the old vocalist that was on Evolution is on vocals as well.
There you go. And it's not a great album, but shows great promise.
Yes. Review coming soon.
A diplomatic way of saying could be better. But we all had the same. We all thought it was all right.
Yeah.
Don't know what that means.
But there's a new Piston Razors album coming this year, so it's all good.
Well,
It's all
so
good.
they keep saying, but they've been saying that since January.
Hey, I know. I'm in the know, McLeish. All right, I know.
January is what they said. Dave, when are
Well-
you releasing that cognitive review? Get the finger out. Get the review up.
I'm on holiday.
Are you?
Aye.
I thought there was something different about you this week, yeah.
It looks more relaxed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, is that right? Aye.
It's not, not
no.
giving me shit about bands he doesn't like. Not as much.
Next
anyway.
week, cognitive review next week, absolutely. 100%.
Results may confuse you.
Dave, do it after this.
Or excite you. All right.
It's an interesting album.
Oh, Duncan, you're going to get a kick in, man.
I can't help it. I wish I could. Like, my brain's just like fucking maximum troll. And I wish it wasn't. I really wish it wasn't. I wish it was more like be a nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm constantly at the crossroads of be a nice guy and be a dick. Like for whatever reason, all the lights are pointing to be a dick. So
Is that why you make so many dick jokes?
what have I done? Well, you have to wait till next week to find out, Lisa.
It was a time. during
All
the
I'm going to
argument.
say is remember our friendship goes back many years now. And sometimes we will disagree on things, but that doesn't mean that I don't care for you deeply.
I think it's a perfect time to cut this off.
Let's give no more information. At this rate, we might as well just give our grades for it. So let's not give that as. Let's just fucking cut the chat.
Yeah.
Cut it, done, right, done.
It's been a
We're on.
pleasure.
Seamus,
guys.
it's great chatting to you. Go and listen to Van Weezer again. Trust me, it's much better than two. Everyone else, I love you so much.
Are we going to put out
Thank
a playlist of bands we've liked tonight, or?
Oh, that's a good point. Well, not my list of 90. Let's just do the
No,
5.
yeah, let's just do the 5. We'll get them together. And me or
Yeah.
Dave will figure that out. All right, we're gonna go raid a team member of mine called I'm Cataclysm. She needs some followers and some love and stuff.
Cataclysm!
Yes.
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 Perfect Chance 2002. Let me tell you Duncan's notes for that. No, I'm only wrong. Let's go.
Let's go.
you
I'll
later.
see you guys later. Have fun with the rest of your day or evening or night or whatever it is. And we'll see you next time on the old Metal Epidemic show. Get your horns up because that's what we do in metal.
Yeah, Dave. I like it.
Bye. And that's it. We're gone.